Hey guys, Chase here for another special video. Today we are going to be reacting to Sinder drama. There's been for the past 5 days, shit has been going down. Nano posted up a document of shit. Apparently Cinder's like fake. We're gonna watch a video about what happened to Sinder, how a legendary VTuber got exposed as a psychopath. The catastrophic unmasking of Sinder. This is gonna be a long one, guys, and it's just crazy to think about and all the shit before, like, that all the shit she's done. It's just crazy, alright? But yeah, we're gonna get into this video, so stick with me, guys, because this is gonna be crazy.
But after 4 months, 2025 has officially had its first apocalyptic level VTuber drama that has caused an industry-wide disaster. This is about one of the biggest independent VTubers on the planet and how for years, while pretending to be her friend, tried to take away opportunities and suppress the success of an even bigger independent VTuber by the name of Bao. This all started when a very well-renowned artist within the VTuber community published this document titled "Terminating My Work with Sinder." This document is such a bombshell filled to the brim with proof that it's currently sitting at almost 3 million views, and it hasn't even been up for 24 hours. That artist wasn't the only one. There are multiple documents with a lot of proof published by multiple people, including Bao, who usually stays away from drama. And as time goes on, more and more people are coming out with their side of the story. You have to understand, this doesn't just involve Bao, this involves multiple very successful VTubers
big VTubers who thought they were
that is barely scraping the surface. Not to mention that her apology was one of the worst I've seen in recent memory.
Not even gonna lie, I started reading her apology and I was scrolling through it. I had to click off of it because it was just so bullshit and so fake, and I just couldn't, because I'm reading it and I'm like, you're not helping yourself, you're not helping yourself, yeah, she literally doesn't fucking, she's apologizing, but she's not fucking, like, I'm trying to think of the right word to say here. She's apologizing, but she's not like, what am I trying to say? Like, I know what I'm trying to say, but I can't think of the right words. She apologized. Oh, she's not trying to take accountability for anything. She's trying to put the blame off on everybody else.
Say that this is apocalyptic is an understatement. The entire VTuber community is shook to its core.
Taking the blame.
So what the hell is going on? Well, you already know the drill. Let's talk about it. So as I mentioned, the VTuber at the center of this controversy is Sinder, but she didn't always go by that name. She actually
I did not know. I will say that this is all new information for me. I never knew she had another account.
Videos like "You're Such a Good Boy for Me" ASMR RP.
Ew, sorry.
A year later, on June 2021, she would create her Twitch channel under the name of Sinder and would start streaming. During that time, she would build herself a small community of people. But the real turning point for her was a year later, on June 2022, when she would officially do her model debut. The whole thing was a resounding success, and people...
And once again, can I just say that I did get curious and hooked up the price for Nanolith's VTuber models. And Nanolith charges $10K per VTuber model, which is understandable. Her art is fucking amazing. I would fucking be, if I had $10K to spend on a model, I would, cause like let's be for real. If you've seen Nanolith's art, she's a fucking amazing artist. She knows what she's doing, pro fucking level. Like, she's really good. She charges what her art is worth, for real. But it did hurt. It did like almost kill me when I saw the price for it, because I knew I was never gonna be able to afford a model from her. Expensive as fuck, bro.
People fell in love with her model almost instantly. At the time, very few models looked like it, and it was seen as innovative, unique even. Not to mention that it had 2 very big reasons to keep your attention, I guess. During her debut, she would spend close to an hour showing off her model and the different features that it came with. After her debut, she would get a lot of traction. People really liked her model. And
I
her
wish I got a lot of
personality.
traction.
Nanolis was also able to gain some of this traction because she was behind
Alright,
the
though.
design of her model.
We're
This
just
allowed her to start
chilling.
receiving many commissions from other VTubers who wanted a
Very
similar
big.
style. And as you can see from how many followers she had in 2023, she was also able to grow exponentially. Cinder would understand that one of the things people loved about her was the design behind her model, so she stuck with
I need
Nano
to
and
get
would
a
keep
summer
commissioning a new
outfit.
model or outfit every few months.
Every few
Now
months,
look,
that's
when it
like
comes to
over
VTuber
10K
models
every
and
few months,
VTuber
which is
outfits,
insane,
this
by the way.
costs a lot of money. We're talking
Literally.
thousands of dollars. The fact that she was
Literally.
able to do this every few months already showed the resounding success that she found in content creation. Her average view count on Twitch was unstoppable, reaching thousands of concurrent viewers today, ranking her as the 471st most watched content creator on the entirety of Twitch. Part of the reason of that growth was that she was able to be a
Numi,
part
Chibi,
of the VTuber friend group that
Nero,
included the biggest indie VTubers on the
Silver,
planet. She was seen as a dear
Lily,
friend, and as far as the others knew, that's how she saw
Camilla,
them too.
Bao,
Always collabing together and always being a part
Shoto.
of their tier lists or whatever other challenges they do. But that's not all. Her success knew no bounds. In the beginning of 2025,
The
she
traction's
announced that
really
she was
from
a partial
her
owner of the
so-called
company
friends.
Gamersub. This is a huge
Because
energy drink
she never
company
saw
that
this as
sponsors
friends.
many
She
of the
got
top
big because of her
VTubers in the world.
friends
She even
who thought
released
they
her
were
own
her
shaker with them,
friends,
and
but
the art
she
on the
didn't see
shaker,
them
of
as
course, was also made by
friends.
Nanolis, and it sold out completely. All this to tell you that she was extremely successful. Guys, she was never in any controversy. As far as anyone
No.
was concerned, she had a very warm and kind personality, as well as a really cool
We all
design.
felt for
So,
that
of
shit, bro. I
course,
thought
no
she
one
was so
could have ever
fucking nice. I
expected
actually
that
liked
it would
her.
just take one
That's why I get so
document
mad
to make
every time
her
I fucking-
entire successful career.
Because every time I like somebody and I get to know them, something fucking happens. Like, oh, let me branch off. Oh, I like this one. They're so nice. They're so kind. They look so cool. Like, come on. It hurts, bro. I'm not branching off anymore.
Come crashing down in an instant. But that's exactly what happened. On April 26th, 2025,
Gosh.
Nanolis, who at this point had become completely associated with Cinder's brand, had published this tweet saying, "Hello, I'm here to share something that has affected me personally and hurt others. This
She's
was
a
very
bad
hard for me,
hellhound.
but I feel like
I'm a
it's
good one.
necessary. Please do not send hate to
I got
anyone on my
toys
behalf.
today.
This is all I want to say." Linking a Google Doc with the title
Couldn't
"Terminating my
stream
work with
Monday
Cinder."
because I
And
was
in
stream
the
Monday and then
replies,
Lucifer
one
wouldn't
could
let me
see
stream
the
Tuesday,
biggest independent
and then
VTubers
he
on the
wouldn't let
planet
me stream
fully
yesterday
and
either, and then
unconditionally
today
supporting Nanolis with this
I was
document.
good and he
So
let me
let's take a
stream.
look.
I got
Nano starts
gifts.
off with introduction and
I
notes,
got rewarded.
saying, "I wanted to share my experience with Cinder and Red
Don't call me
manipulating
that.
me, using me, and dragging
You
me
know
into
how it makes
drama
me
while
feel, don't call me
sabotaging,
that.
slandering, and spreading lies about people I thought were her closest friends." So before we continue, you know who Cinder is, but who the hell is Red? Well, Red,
Who's
otherwise
Red?
known as
Who is
Redacted,
Red? I'll
has
tell you who
been
Red is.
Cinder's manager since she started content creation. This has been a well-known fact. If you knew her or worked with her or whatever, you typically did it through Red. He was somehow involved all the time. So this document wasn't just talking about Cinder, it was also talking about him. Nano continues, "Not only do I no longer wish to work with Cinder, but I want to share what I've endured over the years and shed light on what she has been doing behind people's backs to protect artists and friends that may be experiencing something similar. I struggled a lot with writing this document and wasn't sure if what I felt and experienced
either,
working
right away.
was real
I had no
or
idea
just
who Red
burnout, but
was.
I think this proves that I was lied to and manipulated over the course of years while working with Cinder.
Never heard of
Note,
him.
Based on working with Redacted and Cinder over the years, that I am sure they speak for each other, and there is no reason to believe Red was acting without Cinder's consent and knowledge. Whenever I use they or them, it refers to both of them acting as a team.
Yeah,
English not being my
because
first language
there's
and
no
the
way
language barrier, I discussed the
that
situation, my feelings,
Red
and
was
thoughts with
doing all
native
this
English
without
speakers who helped
Cinder's
me put them
knowledge.
into
There's just no
words, so
way.
everything is clear without any misunderstandings
way at
due to
all.
lack of English skills. Note, any names that are censored here were censored because the creator in
Her
question
apology
did not
was
provide
bullshit. I
consent to
refused
have
to
their
read
name
it. I
revealed
read a
by
little
the
bit of
time
it. It
of me
was
posting
bullshit. I
this
couldn't read it.
document.
It was
So
just
this is
so
already a
fake.
handful,
She did
right? It's
not
alleging
take
many
accountability
things,
for
but
anything and
thankfully,
wanted to put
Nano
all
has
the
a
blame
lot
on
of
other
proof
people.
in DMs. So she starts off with a section slandering other creators.
Here
I
we
will
go.
start with screenshots showing
It gets
them
worse
speaking
and worse,
ill of
guys.
other
Keep this
creators
in-
and spreading
keep this
rumors
in-
while manipulating me that it's all in
Keep this in comment. At this point in the video, this is where it starts. And it starts off with this, and it only gets worse and worse as the video goes on. So keep that in mind. If you think you saw it all, it gets worse.
in our best interest. In addition to spreading ill rumors, they also complain and accuse Bao of giving their editor too much work, resulting in the editor not having any time for new clients, which will be important later on. The screenshots below show them showing their affection and appreciation, immediately followed by spreading rumors and lies to make other clients appear problematic to manipulate any future decisions regarding commissions.
No
so these are fairly recent DMs from January 2025. It starts off with Nano saying, "Of course, I wanted to understand it better, especially if I cancel her for the second time, lol," with Redacted saying, "Well, with blank, she's given a lot of bias and priority at GS, which is gamer subs, sometimes over Sinder, and we can't really confront them about it,
bullshit.
And plus, she's gone 3D lately. Bao has been getting on our nerves for a while. She hijacked our YouTube editor a while ago and is constantly picking up artists that we work with. We've gotten to know her better being friends with her, but she really rubs us the wrong way with the things she does. We wanted to try and safeguard our most important artist from her since she's already taken our editor. And I don't mean taken like he doesn't work with us anymore, he does, but he has to dedicate time for her now, and sometimes
she didn't even ask for all this information. Like, why are you telling her all this information? Like, why? She didn't ask to know it all.
We're 99% sure she told him not to do any more with us. But like model art is the most important thing, that's a VTuber's entire image. Well, we love working with you. Sinder wouldn't be Sinder without Nano. Okay, but like, let me tell you the tea about the music video thing. Bao had original songs last year that had music videos by her editor, and the songs flopped. Her editor met us.
Like, why are you telling her all this? Like, she didn't even ask.
To get something planned. We managed to have him squeeze in the Boss Rush music video between his work.
And it's clearly making her uncomfortable.
And is super excited to work on the next music video project. The Boss Rush song blows up, and he's credited as the editor. I ask him when he's free to do the next project. All of a sudden, he changes his mind and is only working with Bao going forward. No explanation. Nanolist replies with a panicking emoji, and then Redacted continues. There's some context missing,
like it keeps going. Like, bro.
We don't have a music video editor now for our next Boss Rush project. We think Bao got pissed that her editor did an original song.
Yeah, like, you're talking shit. She's just talking shit to talk shit. Like, no one asked for him to talk shit. He's just talking shit. She locked him up
so no one else could work with him. And then had him make it public on Twitter that he was only working with her going forward. Like
this is so bad.
And now she's been barking up the tree of one of our
literally, she's just like sitting there like,
Nano
like, I didn't ask for this. Why are you telling me this? You're making me uncomfortable. I don't like. Why are you doing this?
She has a way of guilt tripping people to get her way. So these are the DMs from January, and it's already looking kind of bad. Nano continues in the document saying, Red asked me to cancel on one of their closest friends, Bao, by asking me to cancel my work mid-progress, manipulating me into thinking it is okay since she has many connections and she'll be fine anyway, so I wouldn't feel guilty about it or worry too much. It was and is upsetting to me that Red contacted me specifically to check on me canceling the model.
Which is more fucked up. You're gonna check on him this to make sure, like, oh, you canceled it, right? You canceled it,
Did you cancel models? Nano said I did not. Red replies with Nano arc delayed to 2026. Nano replies with, I'm scared to cancel with Bao, to which Red says, you shouldn't be. She
clearly doesn't want to cancel with her. She clearly doesn't want to, but he keeps pressuring her.
To which Nano says, yeah, I can give her the design for free as an apology gift.
She clearly doesn't want to.
This is so scummy, man.
Literally.
You have to understand, commissioning a VTuber model is a very lengthy process. Everything from the initial concept, to the design, to the rigging, to the testing. If you don't pay extra,
and I want to learn how to do all of this.
Double, it might take a few months,
but it's just, I don't think I have the time.
And finding someone who's both talented and has a free schedule is almost impossible. So this idea of, oh, she has so many connections is very insensitive and scummy. Nano clearly is nervous and doesn't want to cancel, but Red keeps pressuring her to do so. Such weirdo behavior. Nano continues in the document in the next section, titled Exclusivity and Blacklisting Other Creators. In the messages below, they mentioned wanting an exclusivity contract, but they didn't want to pay for
is that a bad thing? I'm confused.
Rather, when a creator from their blacklist comes asking for a commission, they would guarantee me model work for Sinder only, and if anyone asked me for commissions, they'd commission me instead to compensate for not working with other creators.
Okay, 1 second. Excuse me, 1 second, guys. We're gonna... Tracking might go, isn't gonna look so good for a second, because I'm about to turn tracking on my computer instead. Because I'm about to order food. So, give me 1 second. Wait. We can continue watch.
This felt very strange given that one of the accusations they made was overworking their editor, yet their solution to me working with other creators was for them to essentially overwork me to keep me from working on other projects. The messages below show that their primary concern is that the more non-Cinder models I make, the less valuable my existing models become.
Which is fucked up. You never tell your editor that. You never tell you never talk about an artist that. That's so fucked up.
My existing models less special. The following
That's so fucked up. Never tell an artist that. That's so wrong.
Any new clients or create any new outfits for VTuber 1 specifically, and justifying those things by saying that with each model my art becomes less unique and special, and therefore
how are you going to tell an artist that working with new people is going to make your art less special, like less like, oh, because you work with new people your art's not going to be unique anymore, your art's not going to be good anymore, like why are you doing this? Bro, what?
My workload and my mental health, I backed out. So this first screenshot is also from January 2025, very recent, and it starts off with Redacted saying, I mean, like, if we wanted to have some kind of model exclusivity, what would you need to make that sustainable for you? Nano replies with, maybe you can share one of your...
And there's nothing wrong with trying to want there's nothing wrong with wanting to have a artist exclusively draw models for you, but it has to be consensual. They have to want to do it. You can't fucking force them or blackmail them, or not blackmail, make them feel bad enough to do it. Like, you can't fucking do what he's doing to make her do it. It has to be like, she has to agree to it, and you have to pay them. Like, the price, like, you have to pay them, not just for the models, but pay them a little extra for what they're losing out on. And we'll see that clearly wasn't what they wanted to do.
Ideas, and I can check what I think. Half an hour passes by, Redacted doesn't say anything, Nano says something, and it's, okay, so I got some ideas for this, I guess. Redacted says, I was driving, what are you thinking? Nano says, okay, so I asked help from my friends, they don't know it's you, so don't worry. So a monthly fee, calculating my monthly earnings.
Yep.
Also, how long would this be?
Literally,
for models
you gotta pay them for it exclusively.
With, well,
like, there's nothing wrong with it, but the fact that they have to want to do it, and you gotta pay them exclusively.
Again. So this is them deliberately targeting one VTuber in particular.
And we're gonna learn who Blank is.
You'd still
don't
be
worry.
able to work on models / outfits with all of your other existing babies, and your artwork commissions wouldn't be affected. One of our concerns is that more nano babies means nano models don't have the same value anymore. And
which
by
is
the way,
fucked
guys,
up,
when
because
he
that's
says
not
nano
true.
babies, it's a VTuber term, so typically people who will make your model are called Papa or Mama, and the VTuber commissioning them is their baby. Okay, yeah, I know it's weird if you're not into VTubers. Okay, you don't have to tell me, but now you know. Anyway, he continues, and second is that there's a few people that we just would rather not be able to have a model from you. Maybe not any new babies at all. The reason why I brought this up at all is that there's been a lot of bias with another one of our partners with certain creators, and we'd rather these creators not have what makes Cinder unique, which is your artwork, just drama. An hour later, Redacted
trying to
comes up with an
blacklist
idea,
people,
saying, what about we can pay blank for you, and you don't have to discount it from the next payment, and we'll continue giving you lots of model work, I think around 4 this year right now, but you don't work with blank, or blank at all again, models or art.
Which
I don't
is
think
fucked
you've ever
up.
done anything
Sorry.
with blank or blank before. We also have another gamer subs label for you too, the AFK.
They're just trying. They're literally just saying, don't work for them, and them, but we'll just keep throwing more shit for you to do, so you have no time to work with other people, only us. So you're still trying to make your money.
Asks for art, you tell her no, and then tell us so that we buy another art piece. Like, so you still get a job from it. Now, I'm sure you're wondering who these censored creators in the message are. Well, now we know. This is the full message, with Redacted saying, you don't work with Bow or blank at all again,
in
models
Cotton
or art. I don't think you've ever done anything with Bow or Cotton before. These are, again, very big independent VTubers that called Cinder a friend.
Literally.
This is one of the most shameless things I've ever seen.
These were your friends, and you're literally, literally.
And also gaslighting a very talented artist.
Literally.
It's wild.
It's
now,
fucked up.
There's a VTuber that's still censored here, and throughout the document, you'll see a person of interest called VTuber1. Those got revealed later, and we'll talk about them in this video, so don't worry. Nano then continues in the document, saying, another example of speaking ill of other creators right after they saw I was working with Shy Lily, trying to once again make the idea of working with other clients
which is another
setting myself up with
sorry,
who will do me no good in the long run to get me to reconsider working with them. They also continuously kept asking about my other clients' plans, which for them made the antenna go up and immediately went into slandering Lily. And when Nano says Lily, she of course means Shy Lily. They
Yep.
consistently try to reassure me that despite their best efforts, they just happen to keep trying to bring drama in as reasons for me to go exclusive, and that working only with Sinder is them trying to look out for me. So this is extremely recent, like a couple weeks ago, right? In mid-April 2025, with Redacted saying, "Hey Nano, do you have more plans with Lily besides just the model, like outfits or merch or anything?" Nano says, "Been just the model so far," to which Redacted says, "Okay, her asking you for a model recently just made the antenna go up. She's been acting weird
How does
towards
that make
Cinder
the
lately,
antenna
and
go
we
up?
don't know
Like,
if
what?
something's going on." Nano says, "Oh, that's weird." Redacted says, "Ever since after V-Card launched," which is a VTuber trading card game that Shy Lily helped launch. Nanolist says, "But what do you consider weird?" And Redacted says, "Lately dipping out of collabs they were both a part of at the last minute and now ghosting her messages. Cinder's raided her a couple times on Twitch in the past week, and Lily won't acknowledge Cinder by name."
Can we just think for a second? Oh, let's say Cinder raided Lily and Lily didn't see it. If that were the case, maybe it's because, I don't know, Lily has thousands of people in her chat who come to watch her, and maybe she just missed it. Maybe she has thousands of people in chat who are trying to talk to her, and or maybe she was playing a game, or maybe she was just didn't see it. Oh no, this person didn't recognize me. And like, let's be for real. If this person is your friend, and you actually think that they're your friend, you shouldn't get mad for them not saying anything. They're your friend. You should want to support your friend without wanting something in return. Like, let's be for real. Anyway.
Just like pretty.
Oh, and one more thing. The fact that she was trying to blacklist her friends from getting a model is also crazy, because like if they were, oh god, I got a repost clip after that, but after this I mean, but for real, and if she really thought they were truly her friends, if I had a friend, like let's say Nanolith made my model and I was like a big YouTuber, and Ghost, let's say Ghost has the money for it and he's looking for like a good VTuber artist. Instead of being like, "Oh, don't go work with Ghost, I don't want him to have what I have," I'd be like, "Oh, Ghost, Nanolith is a good artist and she's in your price range. You should go ask her for a model. You'll get a really good model out of that." That is what a friend is supposed to do, not what Cinder did. Sorry, let's continue.
Weird petty stuff. I don't know. Nano says that's super weird since they both share the same store, lol, referring to Gamersubs that
Literally.
they both have partial ownership in. And Redacted says around V-Card's launch they were talking and collabing and I don't know what happened, but her asking you for a model after that was just weird, even though she said she doesn't plan on getting a new model anytime soon. I don't know, hate that we keep bringing you into drama, to which Nano says, "Yeah, I thought it was quite early to go for a new model."
Yeah,
Says,
why you
"Feels
keep
like
bringing her
we're
in
gonna
drama?
have
She
to
doesn't
compete
want.
with
She
Lily if
doesn't
she's
care about
ghosting
all this
Cinder and
drama.
wants the same
She probably doesn't
model
even want to
model."
know
So
all
of
this.
course,
It's none
I
of
have
her
to tell you,
business.
Shy
To
Lily
be,
is
if
also
we're being
one of the
honest.
biggest independent VTubers on the planet, and she is someone that considered Cinder
I love
a
Shy Lily.
friend. Now we have proof that she was backstabbing her.
Lily's really
too.
so
Nano
sweet
continues
and
in the
nice,
document,
bro.
"The idea that they need to stay informed and gauge the competition is extremely upsetting and toxic to me. The competition they're referring to are people I thought they considered friends who always helped, supported, and platformed Cinder. When I pushed back, the immediate response was blaming the other creators and implying that they initiated it by trying to work with me and that somehow justified their
Right.
actions. They imply Shy Lily ignored
That's what
Cinder when
friends
she spent
do.
over a minute thanking
Friends
the raid,
don't be
which
like,
you can
"Oh
see
no,
in
don't go
this
work with
clip.
that
Let's
person. I
watch
don't
it
want you to
together.
work with them."
Ignore what you just saw.
Oh, sorry, Lily.
Okay.
My queen. Let me get out of your way, queen.
Ooh! Oh my goodness! Hello! Oh!
And she did acknowledge it. So what are you talking about? She's barely acknowledging it.
I'm playing Berserker. The last.
Lily's so cute,
it's called
bro.
The last Berserker Kazan. We were sponsored, but the game was really fun, so I just kept playing for like
Lily's so
a million more hours.
Lily's so cute. Look at her. Her model's so
Hello,
good,
everyone.
bro. I can't.
Hello.
I'm like jealous of her model. Like, not in a bad way, but like, oh, it's so amazing way.
The Pyropop.
She's
right?
literally just
Hello, Pyropops. What did you
acknowledging.
guys
She
do?
knows that they're there.
low-key addicted.
She's
I,
acknowledging them.
I
Like, what are
usually-
you
okay, so
talking
Most
about?
people know me for my gacha addiction, but
Right, so I think that's enough proof to see
Yeah.
that she acknowledged
Yeah.
the raid and did her best to interact with her and her community when they raided her. So this idea that she ignored her completely is totally false.
Fake,
And I
it's
think it
fake.
was just them hoping that Nano would be too lazy to actually find the stream itself and see Shy Lily's real reaction to the raid. Again,
For us, that's her-
very
yeah,
scummy
for real.
behavior. On that same day, Redacted and Nano kept DMing each other, with Redacted saying, "Real, is it just Cinder and Blank you've been doing continuous model outfits for? We'll have the demon update list plus final arcade reference for you soon as it's finished," to which Nano says,
Bro,
"I
if
think
I
it is.
had
I have
the
an outfit for
money,
Blank
if I
planned too.
had the
As for
money,
Blank, got nothing for now,
then
but she
I
always
would
comes up with something."
definitely,
Redacted asks,
like,
"Do you know who's rigging Shy
had
Lily's
his
model?"
10K
Nano lists says, "Gonna be
lying
Blank,"
around
to which he replies
with
with,
money
"Thanks,
left
Nano.
over.
Sorry for all the questions, just gotta stay informed, especially when it
I
comes to a
would.
top artist, never a break." Nano says, "Don't worry, just don't stress too much with the side things, it's bad for balding." Redacted replies with, "I'm
bad
gonna go
for
bald
balding.
now, I'll keep you in the loop about anything else going on with that." Nano replies with, "The balding?" And Redacted says, "No, you fool, just stupid drama. Gotta stay competitive even when we shouldn't have to. Also, your profile picture looks like a guy
It's
with a mustache."
not her
And
business.
Nano
She
says,
doesn't
"Don't
care
get
about
too
your
far on the
fucking
competitiveness.
drama.
It can
Keep
get
her
bad.
out of
Gotta
it.
chill
Holy
sometimes."
shit.
To which Redacted says,
Holy
"Hey,
shit.
it's not us. We aren't the ones getting a model from the artist of the other Gamer Subs owner out of the blue and ghosting them and refusing to acknowledge them."
It's not,
You know, this
like,
is made weirder by the fact that both Shy Lily and Cinder
why do
are
you
co-owners of
care?
a company, and
Why
this is
do
how
you
Cinder is treating
care?
her. Her competitiveness knew no bounds. She would probably push a toddler off a bridge if it meant
For
getting 100
real.
extra
For
viewers
real.
on Twitch, okay? Nano continues in
Oh
the
yeah, and there might be a
document
couple
saying,
people who
"Below, I
might do
wanted to
that, but
push
for
back and make
real,
clear
I
was
wouldn't do that. But
uncomfortable
there
on
might be a
being
couple
dragged
people.
into
I'm
drama, and
lagging.
they
Why am I
responded by bringing
lagging?
up more drama and baseless
I
claims,
don't
all while trying
appreciate
to
how I'm
guilt trip me. It
lagging.
is ironic and crazy to me that I mentioned not wanting to be dragged into personal issues, only for them to on multiple occasions mention other people's
Literally, what
alleged
do I have to
drama.
do with this
So this is
drama?
where things get real, because it's not Redacted doing
Like,
the talking.
for real, it's literally
Cinder
none of their
directing.
business to
The
go
DMs were
tell
from
to
February 11th,
to go.
2025, so
Oh
just
my
a
god, I
couple
can't fucking
months ago,
speak.
and
To
it
go
starts with
tell
Nano saying,
someone all
"Cinder,
this.
just wanted to say sorry for stepping back on the exclusivity deal. Wanted to apologize personally to you since I've only talked about that with Red, but I just don't want to be dragged on any personal issues like that. After all, Blank is still a client, and it makes me anxious and kind of destroys my mental to do this kind of deal. Just wanted to let you know I still love
I would
working
push a
with
kid
you
off
and
a
Red,
bridge for
but I'll
free,
understand
and
if
oh my
things doesn't
god,
work out
Ghost.
because of Blank. I just love my clients, that's all." 3 hours later, Cinder replies with, "I get it, Nano, and it was unfair to push this on you, but it's just really confusing going back and forth about it. I just get compared to her a lot, even still today, and it's like I'm always living in someone's shadow, which is one reason why Redacted asked about not making any more models for her. And when you said, I understand if things don't work out,
And it's really, see, look at, it's not gets fucking red. It's Cinder texting her too.
Proof! All this time.
Sorry.
I really appreciate you, Nano, and it's your decision who you ultimately work with, but this is how I've been feeling." Nano continues in the DMs, replying with, "I don't really see the point of keeping thinking about being compared to Blank. You're so much bigger already. You've done so much
Literally.
more. But I would
Like,
never
sorry,
give
but
Blank any priority over you.
literally.
Also, there's not even any model for her being discussed. I just want to sleep clear-minded. Also, I'm fine not doing her models, but at least GamerSup's art stuff would be fine with me. I don't want to be 100% an asshole to her, that's all." And Cinder
Literally.
replies with, "It's not me, but other people's opinions of us. And I'm just trying to not get involved in any drama that other people want to talk about comparing us. But I understand where you're coming from, Nano. There's no hard feelings." And Nano says, "Sorry about this. My mental is just a bit weak." Cinder says, "Same, girl." To which Nano says, "I'm sorry for bringing this to you." Cinder then replies with, "I want you to get that money."
We're gonna pause. I'll edit this out. We're gonna pause.
The whole situation is just kind of sucky. I want to just get along. And then Nano specifies that the phrase that she said, "I understand if things didn't work out," meant that it would be mostly if you hate me for not burning Blank down from my list. To which Cinder reassures her, saying, "I would never hate you." And Nano said, "Thank you, and same, I'm just an insecure bitch." Cinder ends this conversation by saying, "I love everything we've done together and I want to keep doing more. People saying dumb shit online just makes me stressed." Nano continues in the document, saying, justifying their behavior by stating they are simply looking out for me when none of this has anything to do with me to begin with, and manipulating me into being grateful for earning well thanks to them despite the loss of work from long-time returning clients and new clients. As you can see, this is already a handful, and we're barely halfway through this document. It gets worse. The next section in the document is called "Concerning My Work and Models as a Team."
Guys, can you
Another
tell that
example
I'm
of going after other
Kenji's-
clients of mine from
I watch
before,
Kenji.
claiming that
I feel like
having
I'm
more
less
clients
like him when it
alongside
comes to
them makes
collabs.
my
I'm
work
always
less
late
special,
to
with the
them.
recurrence of
I still have an
"It's just
hour,
business,"
but I'm gonna
manipulating
try
me
to
into
see if they
believing
can
that
push it back
working with her
to
is special for
9
multiple reasons,
instead
and
of
that I risk
8.
losing that special something as a client if I prefer to work with others. No acknowledgement of my reasoning and need of working with other clients due to the nature of my work, solely focused on their issues. I would also like to note again that this screenshot is one of many occasions that indicate that Red speaks on Cinder's behalf. I was originally concerned with everything going through Red that it may not have been 100% of Cinder's feelings or wants. I messaged her about it to make sure that he spoke on her behalf and confirmed with both of them this was the case. So this is it. Some people read only the first few pages of the document and concluded, wait, this isn't Cinder, this is just her manager. He's probably speaking on her behalf and she has no idea.
It was Cinder,
this
guys.
right here confirms, no, not only was she aware of what he was saying, but she fully agreed with everything her manager said. These DMs date back to November of 2023, and it's Nano starting off the conversation saying, hey Cinder, hope you're doing okay. I talked with Red and I believe he talked to you already, and I thought it would be best if I just check here personally. Actually, I wanted to know better your thoughts because Red tried to talk to me and I think I misunderstood things. To which Cinder says, I'm doing good, what's up Nano? Nano then says, oh, it's mostly about this. And it's a screen cap of what Red said in their DM saying, not to discredit any of your work because everything you work on is the top of the line incredible, but when everyone's a Nano baby, it feels less special to be one,
zoning.
if that makes
I need to pay
sense.
attention.
Kind of been getting the same feeling from gamer subs lately too. To which Nano says, I thought on canceling some models because of it, but then I realized it's not really fair to me. To which Cinder replies with, I understand what he means, but at the end of the day, it's just business. Bro.
It's just business. It's just business. That's crazy, bro. So throwing your friends under the bus and trying to blacklist them is just business. That's insane. That's insane. That's crazy.
Bro, what is this? The mafia?
Literally.
At your head and before shooting you saying it's nothing personal, it's just business? What the hell is this? She then continues, of course we love working with you and want to keep working together, but if you prefer to work with other clients instead of me, I know it's for a reason for you to help grow and not because you don't like
What did he do?
Being one of your very first model babies.
What did nobody not do at this point, bro? Like, let's be for real.
This was so amazing. I was happy to be able to find someone to help you with Live 2D cutting to improve your skills, and I think that's a big part of why I love the 1.0 model and then started asking
you can't use them. Ghost lost privileges because he broke my model.
Let us know what you actually want to work on. That way I have time to look for someone else if you don't have time for my projects or don't want to do them.
My model was already lagging a little bit and I was trying to fix it, and then Ghost fucking threw on all my redeems and broke my fucking model. He basically killed me. So I spent 10 minutes trying to fix everything.
And I like working on different projects and people. I never
Sorry.
ever said I don't want to.
He's in the corner right now. He'll be back.
I told Red that even though I have my other works, I will always have a way to get you a priority spot when possible. You'll always be my special baby. Cinder replies with, I also think it's important for you to work on projects that you're excited about. So I'll go through my plans with Red and send you our ideas to see if it's possible with your schedule. I know he can be a little pushy sometimes, but it's because he's just doing business.
I know, Ghost. You're good. I'm not mad at you.
Work just as much as I do. Nano says it's okay. We'll update you guys ASAP. And Cinder says sounds good to me. Nano continues in the document saying,
I did not throw something at you.
Red tries to make it look like they never meant for it to
Cute
appear
little
like they wanted me to be exclusive
literally.
by framing it as something I wanted, while immediately doubling down on the fact that me working with more people makes my work less special and no longer unique, as if every design is just a Cinder clone. These are DMs also from November
Cinder
2023
clone is
between Nano and
crazy.
Redacted, in which Nano says, so it's about working with Cinder. My friends told me it's a bit unfair for me to stop working other models, so I do more for Cinder, which I agree with them. I'm a free artist and I should do whatever I want to do. I don't want to take sides on any drama or situations. I still will always have a way to have open slots for Cinder, but I won't be having her as my only customer. Redacted says, I agree, you're a free artist and you should do what you want, but I was under the impression that taking on more Cinder work is what you wanted to do. I didn't think it was like we were making you do that. Nano then says, guess we got a misunderstanding on both sides? It's more about this. And she replies with the initial message from Redacted in which he was like, yeah, not
I
to
still
discredit your
don't
work or
even
anything,
eat dinner
but whenever
yet.
you work
I'm
with
still
other
running
clients,
on
it makes
lunch.
your work less special.
Oh, this is the
right?
first
Which
thing I
Redacted
ate
says,
today,
oh, I
so
see.
I'm starving.
I mean, what I said is still true about how we feel, but I wasn't saying you had to only do Cinder work from now on.
Bro, what the fuck? Oh
Bro,
my god, I
what the hell
can't.
is this, man? He then
Literally.
continues, that's with anything though, not just your work. If you have something special and then everyone wants and gets that thing, it makes it less special. I'm
No,
sorry you were
it
under the impression we were trying to
doesn't.
make you only do work
You're
for
so
us.
fucked
I
up
will
for
keep things more
saying
business
that.
talk and less emotional. Lol. Just let me know how this will affect your schedule so I can tell Cinder after. Sorry for the stress, Nano. To which she replies
She's
with, but
not-
every
they're not
single
sorry at
model I do
all.
is unique and I make them special in their way. It's not like I'm selling Cinder to everyone. Please don't feel this way. Redacted then says, no, I know. You pour your heart and soul into your models and they're all incredible. And Nano ends this conversation with, I'm sorry I made you both feel this way too. So textbook manipulation, textbook gaslighting, textbook backstabbing. I mean, is there anything here that doesn't scream manipulation to you? Reading through these DMs, I feel very sorry for Nano. She clearly loves to make art and is so conflicted here because she values Cinder as a friend and client, but at the same time, her gut feeling tells her something's wrong. These are very unreasonable demands.
Right.
Anyway, the document continues. It's simply business. Normalizing their behavior once again by stating that it's simply business to sabotage other VTubers' careers and not
Yeah,
work
it's
with them and
simply
focus on
business is
Cinder
crazy.
instead. This is again from November 2023, in which Redacted says, it's okay, Nano. You're just
I'm
making a living and making a name
trying.
for
I'm
yourself, and I can't blame you for
trying.
accepting work from other big names in the industry and having very desirable talent. If you end up filling your model schedule again like it was, let me know. We'll have to replan some things depending on that. Nano replies with, thank you for understanding my side. We're all trying to have our names somewhere. Just don't take this personal or anything. I still love working with you guys, and again apologize for the trouble on your plans. I'll still revisit my list and see what I got. He then says, business is business. If you'd
Stop
like to go through
saying
the
that.
project we talked about, and let
Business
me
is
know which
business.
ones you'd want to do too. Later on, Redacted replies to another message from Nano in which he says, I don't want to take
You
any
can't
sides
dive-
on
no,
any
I gotta
drama or
dive first.
situation. And he says, is this about blank model Nano? Nano says, yeah, I want to take it, but I don't want to disrespect Cinder. I just want to do pretty models, no hurt feelings. Redacted then says,
Literally.
business is business. To which Nano
Stop
replies with a
saying
crying
that.
emoji.
Oh my
Redacted
God.
replies with, Nano, you're a freelance artist and blank is a longtime client. So it makes sense to continue doing work for her. I understand the logistics of it. At the end of the day, you need to do what's best for you. Nano replies with, I really appreciate for understanding my side. I do understand your side too, but sadly it's something between you two, not
He's
me.
literally
I shouldn't get involved in
manipulating
this fight.
her.
I just go art.
Wait, I
boom."
used that word
Redacted then
wrong
says,
again.
Right, I know. I just didn't think our conversation sounded like I was trying to make you not work with her on a model, like blank specifically. Nano then says, maybe I just considered the situation too much. My mistake for thinking this way.
No,
And he
I
says,
am.
it's okay. Then Nano says, but are we good for real? This feels like a weird breakup. I'm stressing. And Redacted says, me and you are good. But I
What's
still
the
have to
right
tell
word?
all
Not
this to
manipulating,
Cinder.
but-
It'll be fine. Don't worry. I think she's still sleeping. So it's just a constant back and forth. It's very exhausting to talk to people like this because in 2023, they made her think that by taking on other clients, her art meant less. Then when she confronted
Which
them
is
about
horrible.
it, they were like, we never meant that. We just want you to work on Cinder's models. Do what you got to do. But then we saw very recent DMs from 2025 as well as 2024 in which they were telling her, do not work on models
Oh my
for
God.
these people in particular. This just keeps getting worse and worse. Nano continues the document saying, damage control. Making sure none of this reaches the other VTubers and is all kept hush-hush, while also providing proof that
Literally
they
keeps
know what
getting
they
worse
do
and
is
worse.
ill-intended and should not get out, as it would cause issues for Cinder's career to be painted in this light. Note that the uncalled shot at VTuber 1 is even spoilered, a hidden message in Discord, so it wouldn't accidentally be leaked. This was from the same day in November 2023. A lot was revealed that day. Nano says,
And this
"I
all
try to be
happened in
transparent as much as
2023,
possible. I
but
think
you
it's
could
more
already
fair for
tell you
both
this
sides
has been
this
going
way." And
on
Redacted
for a
says,
couple
"You didn't
years.
tell Blank you canceled because of Cinder, did you?" And Nano said, "No. I told all of them it was health issues. I would never blame anyone besides Blank." Redacted then says, "Lol, we never want to make you feel like we're making you or forcing you to work on / not work on something, especially if it's something you want to / don't want to do. And our conversation the other day doesn't mean to convince you of only doing Cinder work. Again, sorry that it sounded to you like I was telling you to do only Cinder work. I'll message you
No, I'm
later."
not
So
enjoying
ever
my
since
food
2023,
anymore.
Redacted and Cinder have been obsessed
I'm
with
not
just
enjoying
this
it
one
anymore.
VTuber, always tracking what she's doing and not wanting her to hire Nanolist no matter what. Here you can see Redacted saying, "Well, let's see if Blank wants a nano model or not, and hope Blank finds someone else."
No.
Nano continues in the document saying the constant obsession with VTuber 1
I
and claiming
fucked
that
up.
she's asking for it by causing this
I
unspoken
low-key wanna
competition,
throw up
which is
now.
coming from absolutely no other source than Cinder herself. So Cinder was convinced this VTuber was competing with her directly and wanted to steal her thunder.
Why
It's
did I-
censored in this
Why
document.
wasn't I
but
paying
we'll
attention
later
when I ordered
find
my
out who this
food? I
is
was,
because
I
she
wasn't
also
in
made her
time.
own document. Yeah, we're gonna be
Oh,
here
like,
for a
this
while.
just ruined
Nano's
it.
document ends with around 3 or 4 screenshots showing this absolute obsession with this VTuber and the unhinged thought process that Redacted and Cinder had towards them. This is Redacted
so
saying,
gross
"I think it's
now.
more like wanting her
Can't
to
get the
recognize
taste out of my
Cinder,
mouth.
even though it literally doesn't matter. I feel like there's this unspoken competition between them, like they need to one-up
Really
each other
think
because
onions
Blank
out
can't
of
get
it.
along.
I
But I
hate
also
raw
understand her
onions.
point of view. The new VTuber who people say looks, sounds, and acts like you becomes just as successful as you in a year. If she did recognize Cinder as an equal or a friend, then I would be like she's endorsing her copy, or like I've seen some people say her replacement. They share a lot of the same audience too. Like at the end of the day, it isn't just about how much we make compared to her. We just want her to recognize, hey, Cinder is a big VTuber too. She got there on her own merits, just like you did, get along. And the marketing potential and money they could make if they teamed up. I just know anything we do, she's watching and will take from or try to outdo. Oh my god, you know the spinning figure we have on stream? Blank's figure was announced on Wednesday, no spinning figure. Cinder debut Saturday, everyone hears about it. Figure announced, spinning figure on screen with exclamation mark figure right next to it. Blank streams yesterday, first stream since Cinder debut, guess what? Spinning figure with exclamation mark figure next to it. Now this might seem confusing, but we were just talking
Yeah, I'm a
about
little
VTuber
confused.
1. But there was another
What
VTuber that
happened?
both Cinder and Redacted were obsessed
What
with.
happened?
A Cerberus
If they
pup
put fucking raw
VTuber.
onion
Here
on
we
my
have Redacted
sub,
talking about her mid-conversation,
which is fucking
accusing her of
disgusting.
copying Cinder every chance she got,
Like,
saying,
ew.
then like a month later unfollowed her on Twitter and started taking her ideas, Cinder's ideas, like the flames, and now she's basically rebranded to more of a fire Cerberus, using fire emojis all the time, shaking my head. Never did that before.
Wait.
It's funny because she used to call herself a hellhound.
I think
but
I know-
stopped
I
when
think
Cinder
I know
grew
what
past
VTuber
her
they're
and now
talking
uses
about.
Cerberus, or
But if
Cerber
they're
pup,
talking about
or
what
whatever
YouTuber I
her
think
lore
we started
says
talking
she is,
about.
I don't know. Nano says
Didn't
the
that
unfollow is
YouTuber come
weird,
out
and then
before
Redacted says,
Cinder?
Yeah. So it's
So
like
how
there
is
was
Cinder
also unprovoked
stealing?
tweets from her like, I didn't copy anyone else for my design is
How
on me. This
how
is
are
who I
why
am.
why
Like,
then
huh?
why are they
Who are you
con-
saying that to?
if their
Then he
model came
continues
out
and
before
says,
Cinder,
Oh, lol. On
why
random
is
Cinder
Cinder
clips on YouTube,
accusing
there
of
was one
her
dedicated
of
Blank
stealing
fan or someone
Cinder's
she knew, I
ideas
don't know,
when
that would comment
this
on these
VTuber came
clips
out
saying like,
first?
when are you going to clip
That doesn't
Blank?
make sense.
Only on Cinder clips. Nano ends this document by saying, I'd like to highlight the irony of expecting to be entitled to recognition for her own efforts and size when her own active efforts are tied to
I don't mind
sabotaging this very
onions when
same
they're
VTuber.
cooked
Also
most of
feeling
the time,
entitled and insisting to be
depending on what they're
recognized by
on.
someone else is odd.
When they're
Thanks
raw
for taking the time to
and in
read
my
through
fucking
everything. I hope
sub,
everything makes sense and everyone who has been
that's
hurt,
gross,
manipulated, or
bro.
sabotaged by her will find closure. So look, this whole idea of, oh my god, this VTuber's copying me or whatever, this isn't the first time we see it in the VTuber space. It happens more often than anyone would like to. But Cinder, as well as Redacted, were taking it to a whole other level. They weren't just concerned
I
by
low-key wanna
someone copying
puke.
them.
I
They
don't
were
wanna eat my food
obsessed.
anymore.
And they were dragging their artist, who has been loyal to them, into this mess as well. It was a very, very bad look.
Yeah.
Some people were analyzing some of the DMs between Cinder
Oh,
and
this part
Nano,
gets
and
his
this
worst,
part
bro.
right
Look at
here,
this.
where she says, being one of your very first model babies was so amazing. I was happy to be able to find someone to help you with life 2D cutting to improve your skills, and I think that's a big part why everyone loved the 1.0 model and then started asking you for them.
So let me just explain this before he does. This just looks icky in general, because if you pay close enough attention to the highlighted parts, this is screaming, I made you. If it wasn't for me, you wouldn't be anything. That's really, like, that's why it's so icky, because you pay close enough attention. Cinder's really saying, if it wasn't for me, you wouldn't, like, be, like, where you're at. I made you. And it's so fucking gross.
Made people think like, wait, what are you saying here? Are you saying your skill is thanks to me because I found someone that can help your life 2D cutting? And
Right.
the reason everyone even started to look for you is because they loved my model first? It seemed like Cinder believed Nanolist owed her for the success. That she would
Literally.
be a nobody if it wasn't for Cinder. What a very weird attitude to have. Additionally, here's a screenshot of all the models that Nanolist worked on. Oh my god, I have to censor that. Dude, her boobs are literally out of the outfit. What? Anyway, as you can see, they don't look the same at all. They're all
No,
very
they all-
special
they all
and
have
all
their
have their unique
uniqueness.
traits.
Yeah.
This idea that
Cause look at, sorry, got silver. Sorry, you got silver. You got, let's see who I know. You got then Treya. You got. Why can't I think of her name now? I know who she is. I watch her sometimes. Well, why can't I think of her name? What's her name? Oh, Buff Pup. Buff Pup. Yeah, thank you, first time chatter. Welcome in. I'm really bad at pronouncing names, though. Stick with me. Pizzarin plays. Welcome in, welcome in, welcome to the stream. We are reacting to Sinder Ruined right now. I hope you're having a wonderful stream. My name is Chase. I am a hellhound. And we're just reacting. I'm eating Siren. Yeah. Siren. We got Buffpot. Then Treya. Iron Mouse. Nano, obviously. Silver, Nano. I actually don't know most of these VTubers on here, actually. Siren. I did not know Nano made Iron Mouse's model. That's interesting. Very interesting. Alright.
The more models she worked on would devalue her work as an artist was a ridiculous claim to make. And
Yeah.
everyone can see that now. But speaking of everyone, what about her close friends that she backstabbed
That's
so
fucked up that you would tell a
shamelessly? What
model
was their
that, bro.
reaction? Well, Cottontail was one of the people mentioned in that document that both Cinder and her manager were trying to keep away from Nano, even though they were friends, in which Redacted says, "You don't work with Bao, Cotton, or Blank at all again." She tweeted this, saying, "This made my stomach drop to read. It makes me very sad to have things come out like this, sending Nano and Bao so much love." I mean, I can't even imagine thinking that someone is my friend and they're out there in DMs getting their manager to gatekeep an
I
artist
recognize her
from me
too.
because they think I'm a threat to them.
I've
But of
seen her
course,
before, but yeah, I
Cottontail
can't
was
remember
far
her
from being
name. I'm
the
not
only one
good with
affected here.
names, like, at all.
5 minutes after Nano released her document,
good with
Bao
faces, but not
quote-tweeted
names.
and said, "I was very hurt by someone I thought was a friend," with her own Google document.
Yes,
Now,
Bao
look,
has
many
her own
friends of
Google
Cinder
Doc.
were
Surprise,
involved in this,
surprise.
But Bao was more involved than most because this didn't just concern Nano, it also concerned editors as well as animators. So here's what Bao had to say in her document, saying, "Hello, this is Bao. I will only speak to what Nanolist has decided to share with the public and the messages that directly mention me by name. I would like to kindly ask everyone to refrain from turning this into a witch hunt and remember that we are still humans at the end of the day. Before I start, I want to point out why I'm addressing both Cinder and Redacted despite the messages being largely from Redacted. Many times
I
throughout the
hope you
messages,
are
the
having
words
a good
we,
day.
we're, our occur numerous times. As someone who was close to and worked with Cinder for years, I have first-hand experience in how Cinder and Red collaborate and the extent to which Red operates as her primary point of contact in her professional and personal projects. It is that experience that leads me to believe that all requests and messages sent by
I wanna
Red
eat
were
my other
both
half of the
known
sub
about
right
and
now,
approved
'cause I
of
wanna
by
save it
Cinder.
for
In
later,
March
but I still feel
2024, I announced
hungry.
that one of my subathon goals was a Life 2D model. This right here is the tweet of her announcement. If she reaches 10,000 subs, she's going to commission a new sexy mommy Life 2D model. That's what she's referring to.
I do remember
She then
that.
continues, Nanolist was going to be the Life 2D illustrator. After she finished both the design and base model sketch, there was suddenly back and forth on whether or not she had the physical and mental capacity to continue the model. I was very sad, as I had not only teased the screenshot of the model sketch on Twitter, but I had grown very attached to the design and showed it to all my friends. And
Oh,
a
this is
private
about to get
group chat
worse.
that Cinder was a part of. I
Literally,
shared how
she was a
devastated
part of
I
different
was,
group
and she did
chat.
not comment or say anything despite others in the group chat comforting and reassuring me. I now realize that the reason for her silence was because Cinder and Redacted were deliberately sabotaging ongoing commissions and blocking VTubers such as myself from having access to art from Nanolist.
so icky,
She then
bro.
shows us the same
I, like-
screenshots that were in Nano's document, in
So
which we now know
fake.
that
So
Bao,
fucking
Cotton,
fake.
as well as other VTubers were directly targeted by both Redacted and Cinder. Bao then continues in her document and says, Nanolist asks Redacted on why he is encouraging her to not finish my model. Redacted then lists my name amongst various VTubers as well as the vendettas Cinder and Redacted harbor against each. She then lists all these reasons that they were targeting Bao. The first one being, Bao has been getting on our nerves for a while. The second, she hijacked our YouTube editor. The third, constantly picking up artists that we work with. The fourth, now she's barking up the tree of one of our live 2D animators. And the fifth, has a way of guilt-tripping others to get
Got
their way.
cookies.
This is what Redacted lists as reasons
What
why
the
Nanolist
fuck?
should cancel her ongoing life to be
They gave me an
commission
extra
review, all the
one.
while continuing
I got
to
two and they
collaborate
gave me
with and pretending
free.
to be my friend. This is not what friends do.
Yeah,
Friends do
I
not
won't
sabotage
complain.
other friends out of business
I won't
opportunities.
complain.
Friends do not spread lies to fuel selfish narratives. Friends do not use the private information they get from the privilege of being close friends just to use it to manipulate others.
Literally.
If stepping on your friends and abusing your power and connections is how you get to the top, then I hope you realize no one will be left when you get there. She
For
then links
real.
another screenshot we
Thank
saw
you.
in Nano's document
God
of Redacted
damn.
asking, did you cancel the models? And then says more screenshots of them urging Nanolist to cancel the ongoing life.
Sorry, but let's be for real. Even it's been what 4 days now. Still haven't heard anything from Cinder. She still hasn't tweeted. She still hasn't streamed. She hasn't made a video. She hasn't done anything. But let's be for real. Even if Cinder does come back to streaming, and she does have her support of so her whatever pyro pups who want to stick by her. If we really think about it, Cinder could really like I don't think like it's like basically she wants people. Nobody's gonna want to collab with her again because people are probably just gonna think she's fake, or that, oh, why, so you could like use me. Like, no, like she kind of like fucked herself there. And then even her chatters, like, bro, I couldn't even read it. I couldn't even read it because I started reading it and it was just so bullshit that I just had to like, I'm like, I can't even read this. I can't even read it. But yeah, but it's like, even like if she does come back, there's some nice people out there, but there's also like a lot of really mean people. And because there's a lot of mean people, there's a chance that like if she does go back to going streaming, there's gonna be a lot of mean people in her. There could be a lot of mean people in her chat. So I don't. It's been 5 days. I've been looking at Twitter and Twitch every day. I'm not following her on either of them anymore, but I want to know what she's gonna do about this because I'm curious. Like, I don't even know. I don't even know.
To decommission with me, even mentioning how excited I was about it when I
I
showed
read, I
them the
had no
design
idea,
during
and
Sinder and
stopped,
I's
yeah.
concert at WeebCon in 2024. That is so scummy. Again, this
Literally.
is a screenshot that we saw in Nano's document. So then Bao mentioned something that happened in this conversation between Nano and Redacted, in which Redacted was urging her to cancel the model with Bao, and Nano saying, I can give her the design for free as an apology gift. Redacted then said, I wouldn't offer it for free, maybe half price if she starts shit, lol, and Bao quotes that sentence of Redacted and says, I don't know what I have ever done
That's
to either
so,
Redacted
like,
or
fucked
Sinder to
up.
deserve this level of vitriol towards me. I don't remember having any issue or any problem that couldn't have been solved by talking. So yeah, this is
For real.
really, really screwed up, obviously. I mean, anyone can tell, right? It's like Bao murdered one of their family members and got away with it. Like, what did she do, man? Anyone who's ever worked with her has said nothing but good things about her.
'Cause Bao's
Out of
also
all her
really
friends,
nice
she
and
decided
sweet.
to target the person who is probably the nicest out of all of them. Anyway, Bao continues, saying, regarding
she
the messages
targeted
where Sinder
really
and Redacted
nice
openly accused
and
me of
sweet
stealing
people,
their YouTube
like
editor,
Bao,
Boss Rush music video
Lily,
animator,
like,
as well
they
as
are
any artists they have
literally
worked with,
so
she
nice.
attaches an image that shows an email between her and Kaiser, their YouTube editor, in
And
which she
they're
says,
out
Hi
of
Kaiser,
drama,
nice
too.
to meet you. I was just watching your stream highlight from me and Cinder's collab, and I really loved your editing style and humor. I was curious if I could request a video edit from you every now and then if you have any availability. My username is Bao on Discord if you want to chit-chat more there. Thanks again. And Kaiser says, Hi Bao, I'd love to edit a video for you. I just sent a friend request on Discord. Bao continues in the document saying she hijacked our YouTube editor. Their YouTube editor, Kaiser, is a mutual YouTube channel editor for myself and Sinder. My channel manager, June, and I asked Kaiser for one stream highlight per month as we are aware of his extensive position as Sinder's channel manager. I made a point to note this in my inquiry email to him in 2023. She then shows a screenshot of a call that lasted 5 hours and says, on March 20th, I started a group Discord call that lasted 5 hours to hang out with my editors. In this
Damn,
group call,
that's crazy.
Kaiser shared with us that he was afraid to ask Sinder for a raise because he initially turned down an exclusivity deal. As a friend to both Sinder and Kaiser, I encouraged him to take the deal and reassured him that it would not change our friendship, as I would never want someone I care about to miss an opportunity, even if it meant I would lose him as an editor. The
Right.
other editors who were in the call can corroborate this. I'm sharing this context because there are no words
that's
to
what
describe the hurt
friends
and
do.
betrayal I feel now, knowing that on the other side of this conversation, Sinder and Redacted were actively portraying me as a thief and a detriment to their business. I've only ever supported them and their activities and never once thought that I had somehow gotten on their nerves. She then quotes what Redacted said in the DMs with Nano, a sentence that said, Bao had original songs last year that had music videos by her editor and the songs flopped. Bao then says, I'm in
Flopped?
shock and disbelief that this is the
What do you
narrative they decided
mean?
I deserve.
Bao's music
Saying that
is
I
fucking
harbored an invisible jealousy
insane.
because my
It's
songs
incredible.
flopped made me feel sick to my stomach. In late 2024, I was dealing with debilitating TMJ pain that resulted in me having to drain fluid from my jaw joint to open my mouth properly. They
Damn.
both knew this. I have always wanted my friends to succeed alongside me, and I don't know how they could say these things while simultaneously weaponizing my most vulnerable moments against me.
Yeah, that's
I
horrible.
mean, at this
That's
point,
just,
no comment,
like,
right? Like, no
so-
comment. This is disgusting.
Yeah,
For
literally
years, they were
disgusting.
trying to backstab her as hard as they could. She had no idea. She thought they were friends. So this was her clearing up the whole idea that she stole their editor. She did nothing
only
of the sort.
imagine
But then there was the topic of her
how-
animator. So here she quotes the sentence that Redacted had told
How hurt
Nanois,
you would
which
have
is,
to be
we're
after learning all
99%
this
sure she
my friends
told
are-
him,
if I figured
Sacramore,
if
her
my
animator,
friends ever
not
did
to do
stuff like
any
this
more
to me
with
behind my
us,
back,
referring to the Boss Rush music videos. And these screenshots were in Nano's initial
I couldn't,
document.
bro.
Bao says, in these
It would
messages,
break me.
Sinder and Redacted are referring to my animator, Sacramore, whom I have been working with since 2023. She proves this by showing DMs between them in 2023. Bao saying, hi, I'm going to bed, but give me your rates and turnaround time for a video like the Bao Experience one. Me and my editors loved it, and Sac said, yo, all good. And she continues, in 2024, Sac asked me if he could go completely exclusive for me and work for me in-house with no credit in order for him to be able to quietly work on his personal projects and brand without having VTubers ask him for more commission work. I was happy to accept. I want to reiterate that this was Sac's decision and no one else's. Then she says, here is
Right.
proof of Sac mentioning his wishes to be my in-house animator directly to my channel manager June back in
Bro,
December 2024,
hearing Bao
refuting
cry
Redacted's claims that I locked him
and
up
also
due to
hearing
Boss
Lily
Rush's
cry
success.
gets like
These
it
DMs between
hurt my
Sac
heart,
and
bro.
June, her
It,
channel
it
editor,
made
have
me
Sac
tear up.
asking, yo, is it fine if
Because
going
that,
forward I
like,
don't be credited in video
it was
descriptions?
just
To which
so
June says, okay. Sac then says, thank
sad.
you. I'd rather just be more an in-house type of thing for Bao after this
It was
blank thing
just-
is done. It's the last commission I ever do for anyone besides
It was-
Bao, and want to make a
it's
name for myself
crazy.
through my own content and not really my work for others next year. So again, Bao showed up with the proof, and she's showing us how delusional
Literally,
Redacted and Sinder
literally
were.
what she
Bao
did.
then ends this
I
by
can never-
asking,
I can-
why aren't you solving
my
this privately?
con-
And then
I have
replies,
a
if you look at the
self-conscious.
timeline of events from
I
Nano's
am
document, some
not
of
a
those
mean
messages date
person,
back
and
years.
I
found
can't
out
even.
about this
I
less
wouldn't
than
even be able to
48
think
hours ago,
about
and
doing
did
that.
not
'Cause
give
that
me
shit
common
would hurt
courtesy of
me.
talking
I would
to me
never
privately
treat
about
my
this over
friends
those years.
or
My
nobody like
thoughts,
this.
feelings,
Even if I
my
hated
most
you,
vulnerable, darkest moments
I
that I
still
shared in
wouldn't do
confidence
this
with
to
people
you.
I thought would be by my side years and years from now may have been
They are
used as
literally,
information
they're
to ruin my
literally the
chances to have
sweetest
the same
people.
YouTube
Bao
model
and
as someone I
Lily,
thought was
bro.
my friend,
They're
and I
so
don't know
nice.
how I can
They're
ever be the
so
same after
sweet.
this.
They
I would
got
like to
such
ask the
big
community to
hearts.
refrain from spreading any harmful
They
speculation.
stay out of
Everything shared in
drama.
this document was done so with the
Like,
express permission of those who shared it with me.
you
I made this
gotta-
document
why
with
you
the
gotta
intent to
hurt
refute the claims made about
the
me in
nicest
screenshots.
people?
Thank you for taking the time to read this. Yeah, what a roller coaster, right? And I just feel very bad for everyone involved in this, of
I do
course, except
too.
Sinder and Redacted, because this is a horror story. Imagine opening up to someone, thinking they're your friend, always thinking about what's best for them and not coming in their way. And then it turns out that not just recently, for years, ever since you knew
For
them,
real.
they've only had negative things to say about you privately. That is wild, and that, of course, will traumatize a person. It's crazy.
For real, it will traumatize you, and you won't even know if you could trust people anymore. Cause like, guys, imagine like you had a friend, and they're so nice to you. They're like, ah, la la la, and then behind your back, they're like, oh, I hate this person. They're so blah 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 blah. Don't work with them. I don't want them to be better than me. I'm only using them so I could be better than them. And then going back to them the next day. So, how are you? Oh my god, that's so pretty. Oh my god, I'm so happy for you. Oh no, this happened. Like, oh, I'm so sorry. Sickening. It's sickening. Like, so sickening. I can't.
The VTuber Sane compiled all the different collabs and things
Like,
that
I'm-
both Bao and Cinder worked on to
I
really
wish I
show
never,
how much
like,
of a
wanted to
terrible
get into
person she
Cinder,
was
bro.
talking like this behind her back. The song used in the
I,
video
like,
is
regret
a song from Cinder, I'm pretty sure. So I'm gonna mute
Getting
that just
into
in case she
her
wants to
and
copyright
branching
me.
off.
Here you go. Look at this. They collabed so many different times and met up IRL so many times too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, look at this tweet from Bao. Love you, Cinder. The fact that this is your first shot at anything musically is incredible, and I can't wait to see where you go from here. That's my girl. Like, this is insane. The people who were mentioned in Bao's document made sure to confirm publicly that what she was saying was true. Her channel manager June quote tweeted the document Bao posted and said, "Hello, I'm Bao's channel manager, and yes, I was there in the call with Kaiser, Bao, and Sac, and Bao encouraged Kaiser to take the raise. It was definitely something she thought would be best for him. Bao supported any opportunity or anything that Kaiser would choose to go." Sac,
Right.
who is her animator, also quote tweeted the document Bao posted and said, "Feel free to read if you want. Go show love and support to both Nano and Bao, though," and linked a Google document that recounted his experiences in this entire situation.
Oh,
So
God,
Sac
another
starts
one.
this document off
Another
with,
one.
"This is going to be very unorganized, but I'll try and keep this brief since I don't really think that they, Red specifically, deserve any more of my attention after hearing what they have said about me and also how working with them was." So he
Right.
specifies again that he wanted to go anonymous and in-house, not because Bao forced him to, but because he wanted to. He wanted to focus on his own channel while not worrying about having to be commissioned by other people. Then he addresses what Redacted told Nanolist about him, where he says her editor met us at TwitchCon and was saying that he'd love to work with us, practically jumping through hoops to get something planned. Sack says, when me and Sinder initially discussed working on a music video project at TwitchCon, everything was fine and friendly.
Like, this didn't even
However,
happen to
the
me, and
part
this
that is
just
stated
makes
as practically
gives
jumped
me
through hoops is, well, a
PTSD.
bit of an overstatement to say the least, since they had asked me a significant amount of times.
Like, this
trying to
makes
get
me
to
more
work with them
wary
after
about
I told
meeting
them
new
no
people,
multiple times,
other
and they only said
VTubers.
yes because they offered
If I
to
stick with
pay.
this, I'll
So in
stick
this
with
DM,
my
you can see in
small
September,
group
Redacted reaching out to Sack
that I
asking, you would
collab
happen to
with,
be available for a music
and I'll
video in a
stick
week or
with
two, would you? And Sack saying, no, I'm completely full every day this month, and earliest I could do is November
and
9th.
there's
Sack
other
really
couple of
tried to make it
VTubers that I
work, but
watch.
couldn't
I'm not
find
branching
any
off
slots
to
in his
new
schedule.
people
Redacted
anymore, bro.
continued
I'm
asking
sorry, but I
questions. How long
can't.
does it take you to make a music video? What do you need? And even with Sack saying multiple times, I really can't, I'd love
Literally
to, but
for
I just can't. He says things
everything.
like, okay, thanks though,
And
Sack.
I feel like
You're
at the end
missing
of the
out on a
day,
good
Red
one. Like, bro,
and
he
Cinder
stated he
never
wants to, but just
thought
can't.
they never
Redacted then
thought that
keeps
people
messaging
would
Sack,
have
talking to him about
receipts
project
for bringing it
specifics,
up
asking him
one
how long
day.
things would take
They
him,
just
and
thought
seeing
that
when
this was
he's free.
they could do
And
whatever
then,
they
on the 12th
want,
of November,
and they were never gonna
2024,
get caught.
Redacted messages Sack saying, are you available? Sorry for getting back to you so late. Sack says, all good. I'm still 100% down to do it. I would be able to start like the first or second week of December for like mid-December release. Is that okay? And Redacted says, we were hoping end of November release, to which Sack says, oh yeah, that would be impossible for me. Sack then specifies, like I said, I'm still super down to do it and really hope to be able to work with Cinder on the video, but my schedule is
They're
always super
literally
packed
like,
slash
what if
fully
you
planned
what if we pay
weeks
you
and months
double?
ahead
Like he
without much
already
wiggle room.
said
So just let me know what y'all
no.
would like to do
He
or can.
can't.
And then Redacted says,
It's like,
"Rightfully pay you
stop.
double." Sack then says blank and I'll cook, to which Redacted says you can send the invoice to blank whenever, we'll get it paid ASAP. Sack then continues in the document saying, also, I'm not sure what they're on about with Bao not knowing about me working with them, since I asked Bao with Cinder and Red standing right next to me at TwitchCon if it was fine, since I had agreed to do all the Halloween album but would probably miss one of the songs, and she had no problems with it at all. So even though this would sacrifice the music video for one of Bao's songs in her album, she still said, yes, please go ahead. I mean, Cinder is her friend, as far as she knew, right? Then
Right.
Sack goes on to detail his work experience with Cinder and Redacted, saying, also, the stream was pushed back for the reason of the video wasn't done yet. Song was going up at 2 p.m. if I remember. However, this part really got under my skin due to the fact that it was just straight up not true, and if something goes wrong in the video production line, no matter who's at fault, the blame will always fall to the editor slash animator pretty much every time. I'm still not sure why stream was pushed back. So it felt as if I was getting passive aggressively blamed publicly on stream in front of thousands for the lateness really upset me, since the video was not late even under a very tight deadline where I did not even receive all the artwork until the 18th, the first full master until the 19th, and was then asked to also make a teaser version as well as an ad for the end of the video for their merch on the 21st, which I was not informed of at all prior to planning. I also had skipped
Literally,
going home
it's-
for Thanksgiving after having a family member
Karma's
pass
a
to get this
bitch.
video done, and
Everyone's
rushed the hell
always
out of
said
The
it.
entire video
Karma's
was
a
done from
bitch.
scratch in a little under 2 weeks.
They're gonna
since there
get
were
their
quite a
karma
few
one day.
both
Karma's
visual
gonna
and
kick
audio
'em in the
assets I did
ass.
not have at the time that even remotely resembled what the final product will sound like. So I felt like this was an attack on my work ethic, which is
Oh,
something I take quite a lot
I've
of pride
always
in.
believed
I did
in
not
karma,
receive the
bro.
merch assets
I
until the
know it's
23rd
real.
as well either. Even with revisions
That's
and
why
all
whenever-
the extra trailers,
why I'm
the
always
video was
like,
completed
look at
and
their
delivered on
karma.
time with enough time for YouTube to process the 4K version.
Karma's a
There's probably
bitch,
more
bro.
that I should
Karma's a
clarify, since I'm
bitch.
aware this is unbelievably poorly organized, but I'm very tired and don't feel like giving any more energy to these people. If there's anybody who has questions for me,
I don't
just
blame
send
them.
me
I
a
wouldn't
DM.
want to give
So
more
this
energy to
clears
these
up more
people
things that were
either.
happening behind the scenes between Sack and Cinder as well as Redacted, shows us that Bao was nothing more than an amazing friend. And also, even though Cinder and Redacted fought so hard to get Sack over, paying him double his rate, they were terrible clients who weren't prepared, didn't know what they wanted, and still managed to make
Bark.
Sack look bad in front of their
If you want me
audience,
to
even though
bark
he missed
on
Thanksgiving
stream,
just to
you
get
better
the
pay
video
up.
done on
100 bits and I'll
time.
bark.
It's overall a terrible situation. With all these
Oh, that's
documents
my dog
releasing,
barking.
pressure was mounting very
She
hard
thought
on
she heard
Cinder, with people
something.
demanding answers. So many looked up to her and loved her content purely because of how warm and gentle and kind of a person she
Yeah, and we
portrayed
all
herself
felt
on
for it.
streams.
We all
but now
felt
people were
for it.
realizing this was nothing more than an illusion.
She heard
Hours
something,
later,
that's why she
Cinder
barked.
finally tweeted something saying,
My brother's
"Effective
probably home or
immediately.
something."
Redacted will no longer be managing or overseeing my VTuber activities. He no longer represents me as a creator, my brand, or my intentions. I'm sorry, everyone. I will make a larger response when I'm able." So I'm sure you wouldn't be surprised when I tell you that this response left a lot to be desired. But then
Yeah.
another VTuber pointed out something very interesting. Van Peaches replied to that tweet and said, "I remember playing Phasmophobia with you and hearing Red chat away next to you before you first debuted like 4 years ago. You told me he was your boyfriend. Then before we met
Yeah.
for TwitchCon, you switched
Yeah.
up and said, 'Just so you know, my manager is coming with me on this trip,' as if I didn't know who he was. It's even ickier to read this tweet knowing he is your significant other and that you're probably going to try and avoid taking responsibility for hurting people who trusted you as friends by nuking the red side of this duo.
She called
So
it.
as everyone
Called
could have
it.
guessed,
Called it.
Redacted
She
is her
called it.
significant other. He's her boyfriend. And
Not
he
only is
lives
he
with
her
She was
manager,
fully aware of
guys,
what he was doing
he's
and
her
approved of it.
boyfriend.
And yet, right now, she was throwing him under the bus to try and save her
Does
career.
someone
When
quote what
everyone
she
knows
said,
this
100
is
bits
nothing
for
more
a
than
bark?
desperate
You guys aren't
attempt
gonna
to save your
pay.
skin without facing
guys won't
any
pay.
responsibility. It was a very lackluster response to an apocalyptic expose on who she is behind the scenes. And speaking
never
of who
hear
she
me
was
bark.
behind the scenes, someone else came out with a document by the name of Rain on a
Don't act
topic
like you'll pay
that
100
no
bits,
one
Ghost.
could have ever expected.
Because I know my
"Fuck it.
chatters.
My experience with Tashi
I know my
slash
chatters.
Cinder,
You guys won't
content
send me
warning,
money to bark.
Cheating? Dude, this just keeps getting worse.
Oh
Let's look at
God,
this document.
cheating.
So this goes
It's
back
getting
way
even worse,
before
guys.
Cinder
Like I
was even a
said,
thing. This
it
is
gets
about Tashi,
worse.
her previous persona. Things were getting so spicy, my tongue isn't working anymore. The document starts off with, "Hello. Thank you for taking the time to read this document. The events described in it happened about 4 to 5 years
What
ago
if I'm
before the
just not
first Cinder
using
debut.
bits?
I understand there will be accusations
I
of
don't know if you want me to
clout
bark,
chasing by
then
revealing
give
them.
me 100
However, I wanted
bits.
to corroborate
Nah, it's
Natalie's
okay.
assertion that she is
I
not
don't
who she
mind.
appears to be on the surface, and confirmed that no matter how much damage control she does, she is just as responsible as Redacted." The first section is titled "The Beginning." Cinder and I met while she was still running her Tashi.mp3 YouTube channel, which is why all the following screenshots will show her as Tashi rather than Cinder, and that will come
I only
up
get
later.
bits
At the
to my
time, she was
Yoshi,
only
though,
starting her account,
so.
and I already had my own ASMR RP channel with 8K subscribers, and as a bigger channel than her, she couldn't wait to work with someone as talented as me. This message dates back to May 2020, with Tashi saying, "You'll get there. It's still hard for me to believe that someone so talented likes my voice enough to want to work together." Rain continues and says, "We never
I
ended
wanna
up
be
actually
big one
making
day,
content
bro.
together, but that didn't
I
stop
want
us
to
from
have
talking pretty much
VTuber
every day at
friends
the
who I
time, and
actually
eventually
treat
she
like
found a new way to
friends,
make
and
it
I
useful.
don't
The next
need to
section's
use them
titled,
because I
"Oh
would never
dear."
use
Pretty
my
much
friends for
immediately, she was
anything.
flirting with me despite, as you can see here, having a
get-
boyfriend and both of us knowing
I
she
wanna
had a
get
boyfriend,
big one day.
including
I wanna have-
regularly
I wanna
talking
have a
shit
lot
about
of
him to me while
chatters that I
telling me
can
how
talk
great it would be
to
if I were to replace
and
him.
relate
What the
to
hell? He
and mess
continues, "I
around
understand that
with."
I'm no angel in this myself, but hey, at least I can be honest about it." Oh my god.
I want a
here are
lot.
the DMs. It
I want
starts
too
off
much.
with Rain saying, "Besides, you said it's hard when your boyfriend is far,
What is
far
Goblin
away. I'm
and
not your
Rose then? They're my
boyfriend, am I?" To
friends.
which
You guys
Tashi
are all
says,
my
"No,
friends."
but how nice that would be. Your perfect boyfriend material."
Like I said, I'm not gonna.
Heart.
It's not like I'm like I'm
Okay.
gonna use
Rain
Goblin and Rose
continues,
for all the
"Oh, so you
reviews,
wanna
and
go
I'm
at it
gonna
behind
get
his
big
back?
one
How
day, and then I'm gonna
sneaky."
do
And then she
what
says,
Cinder
"Hi,
did
I've
and
been
be
talking
like,
to
don't
this
work
guy
with
about how
those
badly
two.
I
Like I'm
want
not
him
gonna
to
be like that.
me,
I'm gonna be
since
good
he wanted
friend.
to
I'm a
buy
good
flashlight
friend. I could
instead of
never.
giving me any attention when I'm needy. What?
Oh,
Right? That says,
yeah.
"Fucking oof, dude. Literally, why would you even need a flashlight when you have a girlfriend?" And then Tashi/Cinder replies with, "He sent me a screenshot a couple weeks ago telling me he was getting one and had the nerve to use it in front of me to show me how great it was. Wow, yeah, it must be great." Rain then says, "Yo, what the f? That's like me inviting you to a chatterbait room so you can watch me fuck someone else in all the ways I said I want to fuck you." To which she replies
God.
with, "Isn't that
I
great?"
hate-
Rain then
This
says,
is
"I'm very
so
slowly not feeling as bad for him
bad.
about all this, because it did honestly leave a bit of a bad taste in
Talking
my mouth.
shit
that all
about
this
your
was
own
happening
boyfriend
while
while
we were
flirting with
taken, but
someone
then,
else.
yeah,
Yeah,
a
that's
bit,
crazy. That's
did you
like
tell him that was fucked
on
up and
itself,
hurtful to
that's
you?"
crazy,
She then
like,
replies with, "He asked me
flirting
if I
with
was
another
okay with it,
man
and after I
and
explained
talking
how
shit
I
about
felt,
your
he told me it was too late to do
boyfriend
anything about it because
is-
it shipped, and he kept it." Rain then says, "I mean, far be it from me to give you
That's a
advice.
new
It's your
low.
relationship, and the only
That's
ones
a
who can
new
decide what is
low.
and isn't okay is you two. But that just sounds really sketchy."
That's
to me.
such a
And
new
why would
low.
he
Like,
ask
what
if
the
you're okay with it
fuck?
after he bought it?
That's so
Well, all I'm gonna
fucked
say on
up.
this is, two wrongs don't make a right. As much as I enjoy the sex thing, it's really not right if you still want to be
For
with him.
real.
I would either try to reconcile with him and get what you need out of the relationship and step back from me a bit, or maybe consider
Like,
taking
no,
a break.
it doesn't-
And I know that last part sounds
She
fucked
doesn't
coming from me,
care
but I swear
about
on my
any
life, I'm
money.
not
She just
being
wants to
scummy
go
about it. That's really my
big.
opinion. She then replies,
She doesn't
"I've
care
just
who
been
she
really
has to take
stressed about
down
everything,
to
and
get
talking
up
to you
to
makes
get
me
up
feel so
there.
much better. I don't
And
want
this,
to
you
leave what
know,
we
and
have,
the
but I'm
fucked
such
up
an
part
awful
is
person
she
that
was
doesn't deserve it
already
anyway."
up
Rain then
there.
says,
So I don't
believe
know
you're
why
an
she was
awful
being
person. I
so
believe that you're
fucking
stressed,
acting
you're
so
emotional, and you're looking
competitive
for something
when
to
she
make
was
it better,
already
which happened to be
there.
me when he
She
wasn't
was
helping. Listen,
already
take a break from what you
there.
have just for a little bit and
Like,
see if you can get
what?
something out of
You
it first.
already,
You
you
can't
got,
really
you
have
like,
both
you
of us. Plus, it
won.
wouldn't be very
You
fulfilling for
won.
me to
You
just
got
be
the
the other guy in
viewers.
this scenario
You got
and
the
not get
money.
full
You got the
relationship experience
fame.
myself. You can do it, sweetie. I believe
Like,
you
you
can.
were already,
Truly.
you
She then
already
says, "I'm
won.
so sorry. I don't know what I'd do without you." To which he says, "I'm not saying to stop talking to me completely.
I only make
I'll
friends,
still be
not
right here
lose
to
them.
support you, whichever
Right.
decision you end up
We only
making."
make
And then
friends.
she
We don't
says, "I
lose
love
them.
you so much. I don't know
We
how
make
to
them.
thank you." Bro,
And we
this
treat
is
them like
so
family
weird.
here. That's what I do
This is
anyway. I treat my friends
so
like family because I
weird,
don't got
man.
family, so I treat
Look,
my
I'm
friends like
convinced
family.
this is some weird, like, roleplay fantasy she has. She knew that Rain felt really weird about this, knowing that she had a boyfriend, so she was making up this story to make him feel less guilty about cheating. That's just my theory, right? But I just find her story so unbelievable that it just can't be true. Rain then continues in the document saying, despite what was evidently nothing serious for her and just the means of keeping herself occupied, she felt the need to keep stringing me along with proclamations of real love, which again, I was silly to have believed in the first place, but still. And it's a screenshot of her saying, regardless, I'm always going to love you. He then continues in the document, for obvious reasons, I won't share any of the explicit sexting, not just because of the NSFW
Oh god,
nature
there
of it,
was
but also,
sexting too. That's fucking great.
For several months and included more than just text, as both the date and the contents of the following screenshots prove. This was in September of 2020, so months.
Oh my god, what am I reading?
And it features Rain saying, I mean, it looked like something was going down there either way. And then Tashi replies with, it's called fingering, dear. Oh my god. The document then continues. One reason I felt it important to share these details in particular is because I never found out if Red got told about what happened, especially not in full
That's horrible.
The primary reason
That
I
is
held
so
on to
bad.
all this for so long was an itching feeling
Cinder,
that Redacted never fully knew, and it always felt like it would be unnecessary.
You just make me
drama,
regret
so
so
But
much.
now seems as good a time as any. Redacted, if you're reading this, I'm sorry for all that happened back then. I really am. But given the actions
She's
you
such
two
a bad
have taken together
person.
regarding other
She's such a
VTubers,
bad
I still think
person.
you're perfect for each
That's
other
crazy.
regardless.
I don't
Last
think
section
she-
of this document is the end. After
I
Cinder
wouldn't be
got
able to
done
come
using
back
me
from
for
this.
fleeting sexual gratification,
If I
our
was her, like,
conversation
I would
slowed
never
down,
I would never
exacerbated
want
by
to
the
scream
Cinder
again.
character coming into fruition and
Like,
finding
after all
immediate
this,
success.
bro.
I had stopped making content for a decent length of
I've
time
been
by
waiting.
then,
It's been
and
like
thus,
4 to
she
5
no longer
days. I
felt
look
she could
every day.
elaborate
I haven't heard
on
it. We haven't heard anything from her. She hasn't streamed. She hasn't tweeted. She hasn't done anything. She hasn't commented on anything. She went AWOL. As she should. Not only is she a slut for fame, but she's also a regular slut.
She said, nice, congrats on passing.
Yeah,
I've just been on the VTuber side of things working with commissions and whatnot. And then Rain said, what? And Cinder doesn't want to be my friend? Only Tashi does? To which she replied with, it's just easier not having multiple ongoing conversations. Rain continues in the document saying, until eventually she stopped using that account altogether and committed fully to Cinder, and I never heard from her again, something I was uncannily aware would happen even back then. These are DMs from around the same time in 2021 with Rain saying, I'll message you at this time in 2022 and you won't even remember who I am, to which Tashi said, I'd never forget you. Rain then continues the document and says, and that's pretty much it. This isn't meant to be a witch hunt. We all make mistakes, including me as I've shown in this same document, but it felt like a good time to get off my chest things that I've been on it for half a decade now and to finally get some closure,
The
even though I know how bad I
confirmation.
look alongside her. She's an opportunist whenever she can find a way to be, and she does not care what happens
This
to
is
the people
crazy,
she
bro.
springboards off
This is
from. I can only hope she takes
genuinely
this as an opportunity to change and
insane.
grow as a person, and I'm just going to throw this one in the end because it's kind of funny for me to see in retrospect. Okay, thanks for reading. And it's a message from Tashi in 2020 saying, don't forget about me when you become a big popular YouTuber.
She
You know
only
what?
wanted
I
him
didn't
for
read this document
fame.
until I
Sorry.
started recording, and yeah, this caught me by surprise. Wow, you know, I wish Rain had shown this a long time ago so people would have known, okay, this person's kind of weird.
It's kind of hard
And maybe
not
Val
to
and
laugh,
Nana
bro,
wouldn't
because
have
it's
been
like so
backstabbed
fucked.
goddamn hard. But it does leave a bad taste in my mouth in regards to Rain as well. Releasing this
Yeah.
information now does seem opportunistic, because it seems like it's cool to hate on Cinder. In other words, he was backstabbing her the same exact way she was backstabbing others right now.
Yeah.
But speaking of backstabbing, we were slowly but surely uncovering the other people that Cinder had backstabbed because documents kept coming out.
You guys thought it was over. It
Another
gets
big
even
independent
worse.
VTuber
It
posted
keeps
this on
getting
Twitter,
worse.
quote-tweeting Nanolist saying my experience with Cinder and attaching
Bite.
the Google document of her own.
VTuber
This
number
is when we
1.
uncover one of the 2 last missing pieces of the puzzle. There are 2 more VTubers that were backstabbed by Cinder that were censored in Nano's original document.
Spice one of
So
them.
which one is
Surprise,
Spite?
surprise.
Well,
I was
let's read the
right.
document. It starts off by
I didn't wanna
saying,
say
"I
it,
want
but
to
I
start
was
by
thinking
saying,
of
please do not
Spite.
send any hate to anyone involved in this. I only wish to speak about my experiences and give more clarity on those experiences. First and foremost, my love and admiration goes out to
I told
Nanolis
them
for
to
having
push the
courage to
collab
bring
off
this
to
life.
9
Artists are the
because I won't be
backbone
able to
of our
make it at
community,
8
and
because it's
taking
already
advantage of her
8:07.
goodwill personality is saddening to see. I want to take the time to address what has been brought to light involving myself and what I've experienced over the years that coincide with these events. In this screenshot, the VTuber that is being talked about is very
Like,
clearly
I
me.
get
Since the
why he
beginning
didn't
of my
want to
VTuber
say
journey, it has
anything.
been written in my
I'm
backstory
fully
and lore that
committing
I'm the
to
daughter of
Cinder, but
Cerberus,
it's still
and through an unforeseen
yeah.
mishap, the Greek
Yeah.
goddess Hecate. As many may know, Cerberus is a species of hellhound, and I've always incorporated the number 3 in my designs to follow the 3 heads of Cerberus in my early design, and when artists were still learning new model/rigging techniques, I had opted for 2 other wolf heads on my shoulders as pauldrons to symbolically represent my 2 other heads. However, the repeated comments of, if you're a Cerberus, where are your other 2 heads, had pushed me to use the broader term hellhound at the time. Fast forward to months, to a year into my journey, and I started to receive harassment and berating comments and chat
And their
messages
models
on
don't
Twitch and
even
YouTube
look
videos
the
comparing me to Cinder and
same.
putting me down for being a hellhound. making the definitive switch to the Cerberus label.
Wait, I'm a
got me sense of
hellhound,
relief
but
because
I
the
don't want.
last thing wanted
I
was
wouldn't be compared to
constantly compared or
Cinder.
harassed at this point. I didn't want to be associated with her due to all the negativity that was being thrown my way.
Fuck,
Then she
bro.
lists one of the screenshots that were included in Nano's document, in which redacted claims that Spite unfollowed Cinder on Twitter, and this is what she has to say about it. As for the claims of unfollowing her and taking her ideas, I debuted my 2.0 Life 2D model May 14th, 2022, and on that same day, she decided to post her debut announcement for her 1.0 Life 2D model. Leading up to this time, I didn't know who Cinder was at all. I had no idea she had fire in her ears or she was another hellhound.
I
The
want
creator
fire
space
in
is
my
broad, and I
ears,
still stumble
bro.
across
Not
creators
because I want
larger
to
than myself
copy
that I had not
anyone,
heard
but
of
because it would be
before. I never once
cool.
stole her ideas. All I ever want is to try to be unique in my own way, so these claims that I was following her and then unfollowing and stealing her ideas are absolutely
Yeah, it would have.
baseless
It would
and
have definitely
uncalled for.
looked bad
This is a
on
screenshot
him.
that shows that Spite was doing her 2.0 debut on May 3rd, 2022, and 11 days later, Cinder was barely revealing her.
Literally, how is Spike copying Cinder when she fucking put her model out first? It doesn't make any sense. How is Spike copying her when her model was out first? Spike put their model out first, and then Cinder wasn't even Cinder yet. She was Cinder, but she didn't even have her model out yet. So how can someone copy when they weren't even like it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. But I do want fire in my ear. It's not like Cinder's, because I don't want to copy her beat or like her or anything. But having flames like at the end of my hair and in my ears, I wanted that. But I don't think my VTuber mama could do that right now.
Her first model. She had not even done her debut yet. Spite continues in the document, saying her posting her debut announcement trailer the same day
They
as
look
my 2.0
completely,
debut
yeah,
seemed
and they look
off.
completely
I shrugged
different.
it
Like
off
they
as a
don't even
coincidence
look
because things
similar.
happen. However, this
Like
wasn't
at
the last
all.
time something like this had happened. There have been multiple times where I have done something, and either the same day or shortly after I was
Like,
made
if we're being
aware
for
or
real
had
though,
discovered later that
this
something
happens a
similar had
lot
been
though,
posted,
where
making me feel
there's a
like I was being
VTuber and then
watched
another one comes down and
constantly.
like, oh my
I tried my
god,
best to
you
believe
look
it
just
was
like that
coincidental and not
person, or oh my
unintentional
god,
on their
you
part.
look exactly
There were
like
many
that
times where I
person.
designed
Like
a new outfit
it
that I was really
happens
excited
a
for, but
lot.
afterwards, Cinder would release outfits or models
But
with similarities
in this
to it.
case,
I didn't think
they
much of it
don't
at
even
first
look
because it is
similar at
normal to have
all.
some
Like, let's be
similarities
for
or share
real.
inspirations with other creators. The
They
VTuber
look
community is a
completely
huge space, and
different.
similarities are normal. I'm not speaking to whether my designs were taken as direct references for hers. I'm addressing the need for the unprovoked tweets mentioned in the screenshots above and showing that I made the statements to make it clear that I was not stealing ideas. How can I copy something that was released /teased /revealed after my own?
For
On
real.
July 20th,
For
2022, Maui
real.
Live, my model Mama, and I worked on a comfy goth girl outfit. I had rips in my shirt, a G-string, shorts, and spiked wrist cuffs. 2 weeks after, Cinder debuted a similar outfit. I included the earliest image that I could
guys
find
see
of
that?
Cinder with this outfit.
You guys see that? I don't know about you guys, but this, I don't know about you guys, but this looks like Cinder's copying Spite. I don't know about you guys, but this looks like Cinder's copying Spite. No? I like my outfit. My outfit's original. You guys want to see my outfit? Here. I got the flames on it on a crop top. Let me uncross my arms, put my hand in. The flames on my crop top. I got the shorts with the fishnets and my boots. All original. All stuff that I thought of that I would think would make me look badass. Oh my god, you look like a VTuber, no way. Who would have thought? Who would have thought? Oh my god, you look like a VTuber. Who would have thought? Who would have thought? Holy shit. Holy shit. I want to use a deep sea siren with fishtail, but it's like saying that because I'm a siren I'm copying Monarch. Or, yeah, literally. I love Monarch, by the way. But, that's really saying that any, like, VTuber who has a tail, or who looks like a siren, and you want to become that, which would be amazing, by the way, I would love to see how that looks, would be like, oh my god, you're copying Monarch. Oh my god, you're copying this person. Like, We can have similar VTuber designs. Like there can't just be one siren in general. It's gonna happen. Who would have thought? Gotta hit them 50 followers for affiliate, buddy. Go stop.
I received many negative comments about my design from people assuming that
I would
copied her
follow
when I
you
debuted it
too.
2 weeks before hers. I got called off-brand Cinder and just
Follow
a bunch
you,
of horrible
Siren.
things. So these are DMs with her artist saying, "Sounds great, I'm so happy with it." On July
And their
20th,
models don't
2022,
even look
showing that she was working on
similar,
this
bro.
outfit
Like,
way before the tweet
like,
that Cinder made
looking
on
at her and
September
looking at
14th,
her,
2022,
completely
asking,
different.
"What do you think of my new outfit that looks very similar?" Spite then continues in her document saying,
Spite
"I
and
discovered this
and
merchandise
Cinder
that
look
she used
completely
for Uwu
different.
Market and had to do a double take because of the gray-blue skin tone used in the art. Several people thought it was me, and the similarities for this speak for themselves, I feel. So this is the design itself, and yeah, I mean, they do look pretty damn similar, not gonna lie." She continues, "On April 29th, 2024, I designed a Greek goddess outfit on stream. I am a Cerberus VTuber, so it fits my lore completely. I mentioned that I may or may not get a future Greek goddess outfit because it fits my branding. About 4 months ago, Cinder debuted
You know,
a
actually,
Heaven
I was
Okami
looking at
inspired
them.
outfit. It
I was looking at a
white
couple
and
earlier,
gold,
and there's literally
resembling the
one
Greek goddess.
that you
In
could,
the
I think,
background for the
spend
debut,
less
she
than
also
100
included
on.
Greek columns.
That you
At
could
this
look
point, I
exactly
felt
like
nothing I could come
Gargura.
up with would be even slightly original to me. I'm aware that nothing is completely original, but I still
There's a
wanted
lot
my
of
own
pre-made
identity.
fucking
So here's the
VTuber models
outfit
that
she
could
drew
look
on her
like big
stream, and then
VTubers.
here is the debut stream with the new outfit that Cinder came up with. She then continues, "On April 20th, 2024,
It looks like she's literally copying Spite instead of the other way around.
On top, and I had side bangs covering my eyes. On April 4th, 2025, so a year later, Cinder debuted a sports hoodie with side bangs covering her eyes similar to mine." Is this a coincidence, or is it
At this
truly
point,
her trying to copy
it
everything she's doing? I don't know.
doesn't
I'll
even
let you
seem like a
decide.
coincidence.
She then
Do you
continues, "There are
guys
some
think it's a
instances that I
coincidence?
do
Because
not
to
have
me,
screenshots of.
it looks
For
like
example, I remember
Cinder's
posting about my first
copying
ASMR stream.
Spite.
The day that I was supposed to do
Who
said
would have
stream,
thought?
Cinder plugged her ASMR channel.
She's-
I thought it was
she's
a bit suspect,
cloning
but brushed
her.
it off. I don't have any
And then-
screenshots of the
okay.
comments and bullying that I received.
And if you're looking at the designs, like, oh, well, maybe it's a coincidence, and they could just get the same outfits every time. But if that was the case, why did Cinder decide to get blue flames? Blue flames, like Spite, who's blue and has blue flames. And Cinder comes out with blue flames. And every time Spite comes out with an outfit, Cinder comes out with almost the same exact outfit. And basically saying, I can do what you do, but better. But who knows? Maybe that's just my thinking. I need to become a masked guy with a single horn on my head. The same outfit 3 times is not a coincidence for real. Just like how it's not a coincidence that she decided to go blue flames.
From her community, there were too many that it became too much to keep track of, and just started ignoring them because I never wanted to save images of their words. That hurt me. I didn't even want to read the harassing comments in the first
The
place.
coincidence?
I
I think not.
in my own space. I received a DM on January 25th, 2023. I will not disclose who the sender was without their consent. The sender expressed to me that they were getting bullied by Cinder and certain members of Cinder's community because she too had fire in her ears. I never responded to the DM because I wanted to stay away from drama
Gosh.
as much as
No, I actually need to
Here's
get
what the DM said.
an actual
"Hey,
lore
you
video
bumped my
made.
feet,
I
and
plan
can I
on
just say
doing
I
that
love your
eventually
design? I had a rather
because I
odd
do have
question, I
lore and I
suppose.
did
Have you
have
had any
I do have a
messages
little
from the
video
VTuber
for it, but I
Cinder
want to
regarding
get
your design?
I will
It's
I
basically out
am
of
gonna
nowhere, but
pay
I'm
to
only
get an
asking
actual
because I had made an
animated
original
lore
character,
video
like a while back,
soon.
and I was accused by her and others of stealing her design because my dog
Hopefully
girl
at
had
the-
flames
around
in
the
her
end of the year,
ears, and
probably.
her fans claimed that was exclusive to her design. It was this whole big ordeal on Twitter, so I wondered if anything similar had happened
in
to you.
July, I
I'd
hope
like
to get a
clarify.
summer outfit
I,
for my
myself,
VTuber
am
model.
not saying your design looks like hers. I was scrolling, saw your totally awesome design. When I saw the flames near/in the ears, I had flashbacks and thought to myself, oh no. So I guess this is just my curiosity getting the best of me. Spite continues in her document saying, I'm just very saddened and disappointed in this situation.
That's my complete lore. I woke up like this, say hi, so hi.
drama, so I kept quiet. I've also seen what happens when a creator stands up for themselves
10
and
out of
receives
10
major
goes.
backlash,
10
even
out
if
of
they're in
10.
the right, so I've never
Oh my
vocalized my
God.
concerns. I've always designed my own models. I've gotten inspiration from Cerberus with the chains and spikes.
I wanna learn how to make VTuber models so I could just do my own and then make money by doing people's.
Other of our goth crushes that we've had growing up. I just focused on myself and my friends. Meanwhile, I had eyes on me the whole time.
This is a lot of
Knowing that I
work
was
and
being
it's a lot to
watched
learn,
talked
and I feel like I
poorly
don't
about
have the
really
time.
hurts, especially when they never attempted to interact with me. I did my best to go through and find what I could and get appropriate screenshots.
Like,
It's
I wish
crazy
I could
because
just
didn't know
be a
Sinder was
VTuber who
until
could
she
stay home and
debuted
just
her
make
live
money
to
off
date.
of
I just wanted
streaming and
exist
wouldn't have to go to
peacefully
work
as a VTuber and spend my time drawing.
every
I
day,
woke up this
Monday
morning in
through
shock.
Friday.
It's terrifying and hurtful to know that someone could attempt to
Oh, I
blacklist
know
me when I've
someone
never
who
even
gives
spoken to them.
rigging
I hope going
classes.
forward that no one else has to experience
Oh, bro, I need to
anything
learn
like
how to
this.
draw
Thank
the
you guys
models
for being supportive
first.
towards me. I love this community so
We're
much.
not even
Please
looking
go
at
and give
rigging
love and
yet. I
support
need to learn
all
how to
those who have
draw.
unfortunately been involved in the situation. Please support Nanolist, who was very brave enough to speak up, and the VTubers who were affected. Please support my first model mama, the wonderful Maui Live, and also my most recent model mama, the wholesome REVT. Thank you for taking the time to read this. So as I said in the beginning of this document, this was one of the last two remaining pieces of the puzzle. Who was this Cerberus that they were so obsessed with? A VTuber they never even bothered interacting with, who had this design
You
even
get paid
before
more for
Sinder,
rigging?
and yet they
True,
were completely
true.
and utterly obsessed with her in such a weird and unhealthy
Maybe I could, like,
way.
learn how to
Honestly,
rig.
Spike should get a
Oh,
restraining
I've-
order. Like, let's be real here.
I
But
could
here's
learn
the
how to
thing.
rig,
What about
and
the
then
last
I could
missing piece of the puzzle?
re-rig
The
my
one who was
own
called
model,
VTuber 1
and
in
then
Nano's
I could rig
document.
other
Well,
people's
this is one of the
models
most
and make
screwed up
money.
cases of this entire incident, and we're about to find out
Give me their
why.
information on Discord.
So, you no doubt
Let's
remember
learn.
the screenshot in which Redacted was trying to blacklist Bao, Cotton, and a third VTuber from ever being able to commission Nano again. Well, we now
But rigging
know
is, like,
that this
10 times
third
harder?
VTuber is none other than Silverveil, yet another
This drawing
very
looks
big
hard.
independent VTuber. Many hours after the initial statement from Nano,
This
she
drawing,
quote-tweeted Nano's
I feel
tweet
like the
and
drawing
said,
has so
"My
many steps though
statement
too,
on
because it's like
Sinder
you draw
and
the eyes
Redacted,
and you draw the
linking
hair
yet
and
another
every little
Google
fucking
Doc.
part.
It
It's
starts off with a section
complicated.
titled
I know it's
Introduction.
complicated.
I shouldn't have to say this, but me putting out this statement is not a call for
It's
or
very
an excuse for
complicated.
anyone to turn the situation into a witch hunt. My intention for making a statement is strictly to give myself
Do
closure.
I want to
from
learn
the
how to
events of
draw
the
or
past
rig?
years
What
and
would
clarify how
I feel like I
have
should do
been
what would be
personally affected.
easier, but then I should
debated
feel
if
like I should
wanted
do
to
what
even
would
say
make me more
anything after
money.
being asked if I wanted my name
You could
in the
draw
original
line art.
document
Ooh,
censored,
that's
as
good.
The situation is much bigger
Siren.
than just
That's
my
good.
personal experience. However,
I
after
wish I
finding
could
out how
draw. I
wide
feel like
and
I'm not very
extensive the transgressions
artistic.
were, I feel the need to give clarity to my situation and how I was personally
I want to have
affected.
something
I
like
want
unique
to note,
about
as
me. Like, I
others
know how to
have, that though a
write.
majority of the messages are from Redacted,
Maybe
who is
that's
Cinder's
just my thing.
manager,
Maybe I'm
I
just
find
still
it
gonna be a writer,
impossible
but I
that
do
he
want to learn
acted
how to
solely
draw.
on his own
I
intentions
want to draw
without Cinder's knowledge or
VTubers,
consent,
bro.
given the extent to which he
And
has represented her
rig.
publicly and professionally. The next section is titled
Color will never be my
Nano
strong
and
suit.
VTuber 1, in which we see many messages
But
that
just
were
even
already
drawing
included in
line
Nano's
art is
document, where
amazing in
Redacted was trying
itself.
to convince Nano to go exclusive and not work with specific VTubers. As you can see, this is the message where he says you don't work with Bao,
They give
Cotton, or Silver
lifetime
at all
classes
again,
for 100
models
bucks
or
with
art."
video,
And then Nano
private
says,
Discord
is there
stuff
any way to add
stuff.
a little bit more since
That's
Silver
not a bad
still
price.
asks for art every now and then? To which
I am
Redacted
shit at
says,
art, like,
we
6
could do it like when
months
Silver
now.
asks for art,
For
you
right,
tell her
Lord
no,
Chase.
and then tell us to buy another art piece. Like so you
I feel
still
like I'd
get a
be good
job
at
for
writing
it.
more,
So they
but
wanted to
like
blacklist
just
Silver
because
so
because
hard
I'm
that
like
if
a
Silver were to
writer,
ask for any
when it comes to
commissions,
trying to do like
Redacted and
short
Sinder were
stuff,
willing to pay money to Nano so
I'm
that she
like, it's
doesn't
hard for me
take
to
the
do short
job.
stuff because
We
I
also
get
get
so
more clarity,
passionate and I
right?
get
The model that
when I
Redacted
keep
was talking
writing
about
and
was
writing
Silver's
and
model.
writing.
The DMs between Nano and Sinder also revealed
I
to
could
us
write
much
lore,
more
though.
now that Silver's name has been uncensored. Here we can see Nano saying, just wanted to let you know I still love working with you in Red, but I'll understand if things don't work out because of Silver. I just love my clients. That's all. That was in February 2025.
Oh,
barely
it's
2
revealing
months
your-
ago. So this
Oh,
person
bam,
that
we're on
Sinder was
Silver
saying,
now,
I just
too?
get
What the
compared to her a
fuck?
lot even still today was
Oh,
Silver.
Silver's the
And
other
Silver had
person.
No idea
No
this was happening behind
way.
her back. Silver then continues in her document saying, I am VTuber 1 in the
Silver is
screenshot provided
VTuber
by Nano in her
1.
document. I've been a friend and client of Nano for years, and seeing how she was manipulated and abused by Sinder and Red makes me livid. She's an absolute sweetheart and just wants her clients to be happy. It breaks my heart to see how she was treated like a tool and a resource to be used for growth, rather than a talented living person, and gaslit into somehow believing that how she was being treated was okay. I am so proud of Nano for having the courage to come forward to the affected people with all of this and to let everyone know how they were being unknowingly sabotaged. I've spoken to her privately and want to be clear that I have no ill will or hard feelings towards Nano for her involvement in this. I urge people reading this to try and understand the
I
emotional
get that,
manipulation on
Ghost.
display and empathize with her situation. There is a lot I could say about how disgusting I find their behavior towards other creators in general, but I want to focus on my personal experiences. The next section gets real, and it's titled Sinder and I, and this is
Got
where she goes
51
into the
minutes,
very
around
weird
50
relationship she
minutes.
had with Sinder and really
And it's
reveals the depth
8:22.
of the backstabbing. She starts off by saying, discovering that all of this was going on behind the scenes has been gut-wrenching. I didn't know Sinder,
Chicken
we weren't friends,
wings!
and we have barely talked. Even writing
Enjoy
this, I
your
do not understand what I
chicken!
could have possibly done to warrant the level of malice and cruelty shown. In our private interactions,
I had a
was
sub.
as
I wanted-
cordial
I
as
was
possible,
craving
but I just
Subway.
wasn't interested in associating
I
with
got
her
piece
professionally
of
or being
good,
her friend.
Ghost.
From the few uncomfortable interactions I did have
Piece
with her,
of
I had gotten
good.
the vibe that her primary goal was to climb the social and content ladder and grow her brand. I am fully aware how common that attitude is and that that's just how you grow in this sphere, but I personally don't have the emotional fortitude or bandwidth to have friendships for the express purpose of growth. For the record, I think it's fine to have that view and approach to content creation, but I also reserve the right to simply not vibe with someone. I would much rather not associate with someone at all than pretend to be their friend for the purposes of growing my brand.
For real.
The only
For
time I had
real.
actually talked to her directly was during my meet and greet at TwitchCon 2023. I had just finished my meet and greet, and as I was wrapping up, she walked directly to the screen to meet me and had
Oh my
someone
God,
else take a picture of us
Cinder's a
together.
wolf,
I was
and
not
I'm a
informed of this
dog,
picture
so
or asked permission for it, and
we're
only
different.
knew about it once I saw it on Twitter later on. And as you can see, this is a tweet from Sinder back in October 20th, 2023, with her saying, "Stop by to say hi
Ew,
after
I
my
hate
meet,
both. I like
wolf bros."
Domino's.
Really making it seem like her and Silver were friends and knew each other, when that wasn't the case at all. Silver then continues, saying, after the meet and greet, she contacted my manager at Mythic to ask me to collab with her. I told them I would rather not collab, but accepted her friend request on Discord after turning her down. In private DMs,
Let's
she
go.
reached out and asked me to do merch or another various form of collab to be monetized, to which I again declined. I will always
just
prioritize my
using
mental
her.
health and peace over any potential profit that would make me feel used transactionally and put me out of my comfort zone.
For
so these are
real.
the DMs with her Mythic manager saying, also, Cinder really loved meeting you and wanted to collab, so I told her I'd let you know, and I could throw you guys in a group chat if you were interested. To which Silverveil said, hello, I appreciate the sentiment, but I prefer to not do collabs. Her manager said, no worries, hope you're having a good weekend. To which she said, oh, thanks, I'm trying to, just busy on lots of IRL stuff coming up, lol. Sorry for not being interested in collabs, I just like to do my own thing, but I'm always open to messages, lol. I hope you had fun at the con and everything went okay.
See, I get
So
Silver
these are
for
the
that.
brief
She's real
DMs
for
she had
that.
with
She
Cinder.
doesn't want to do
Silver
collabs
starts
because
off the conversation after accepting
she
the
doesn't want to
friend
get
request
used,
saying,
which is
"Hi."
fair.
Cinder then replies
So
with,
you
"Hi,
never
Silver.
know
Sorry
if
for
another
getting back
VTuber
to
just
you
wants
late.
to
I've been
use
super
you
sick from TwitchCon.
to
I guess a
grow
lot of us got sick
themselves.
after the last couple parties. I hope you had a good time at your meet and greet. It was nice to see you there. But yeah, no worries if you don't prefer to stream together. My
It's actually- I
manager
like
suggested
Domino's, it's
something
good.
more like sponsorships, merch,
Boyfriend
music, or
works
some
at a
kind of
bar,
other
so
project
I
together
get
that
a
maybe
lot of
Mythic could
chicken
help
wings
with
and
if
fries.
needed. I'd love to chat
That
more
sounds
either
good
way.
enough
To which
for
Silver
me.
replied with, no worries.
That's
It's been super
awesome.
hectic and busy for everyone, lol. I hope you're feeling better. I'm really flattered by the
My ranch
persistence, but I'm
exploded
just
in
not
the
interested in
box.
transactional
Oh, no.
relationships with anyone. I
Not
hope
the
you can understand.
ranch.
So then we go back to Redacted's DMs about Silver, and we realize just how unhinged both he and Cinder were,
Ghost.
accusing Silver of copying Cinder with that spinning figure and saying
Don't make me
things
put
like,
you in
oh,
a
we just want
corner
Silver
again.
to recognize Cinder because she's a big VTuber. And typing in all caps.
I need to get I'm getting uncomfortable in my seat.
Adding, I
sitting
feel
here
like there's
for a
this
minute.
unspoken competition
I'm also
between
getting
them. Like they need to
tired.
one up each other because
I need to
Silver
wake
can't
up.
get along.
Guys,
Bro,
what
she
can I do to
literally
wake
said in
myself
the DMs
up?
She's just not interested in transactional relationships, and she
For
was
real.
as nice as possible. I've already said this multiple times in this video, but man, this is so weird. Silver then continues in her document saying, I had a new life 2D models in the works for my birthday with Nano, which was
Ghost,
eventually
I will put
canceled.
you back in
I
the
was
corner.
devastated as Nano was the one who originally asked if she could do this model because she was excited to make it with all the new things she had learned, and my birthday was special. At the time, the reason given
Like
was
a
health and
lemon.
stress reasons, which made
No,
sense
I
given
don't
how
have
much
a
was on
lemon.
Nano's plate, and despite my disappointment, expressed my support for her prioritizing her health. I am now aware that the actual reason for her declining to work with me on my birthday model was external pressure from Redacted and Cinder. Words cannot describe
Oh my
how heartbroken I
God, my
was in
birthday's
the end.
coming
She then
up.
attaches a screenshot with her and Nano in DMs, with Nano saying,
I mean, Ghost
Silver,
isn't
I
wrong.
have to cancel the model commission.
I
I'm
don't got
sorry.
a
My
lemon,
manager told
though.
me I have to cancel the most commissions possible for health reasons. I've been working too hard and it's getting into me. I really apologize for this inconvenience. Silver replies with, I was looking forward to it so
My
much. I
birthday's
love
like
your art so much.
a
and I've been
month
so excited
away,
for a
and
new
I'm
model for
late.
you. I
I don't
understand.
know why, but
You
it's
have
like
to prioritize
depressing
your
me.
health and taking care of yourself. I hope your health improves and you feel better.
I don't
Make sure
have
you get lots
anything
of rest and
sour.
relaxation. Do you know if you'll be able to do it next year at all? Don't feel pressured or anything, just asking. Nano replies with, I'm sorry, it hurts me a lot too. I just wish I could work on everything I could, but I believe I can still go for your model sometime next year. Yeah. Silver then says, that's okay. I know you have a ton on your plate and can't imagine how stressful it must be. Do you think you can still do Gamer Subs tub art? And Nano says, oh yeah, illustrations are okay. And of course, they were
This
only
is
okay in the eyes
so
of Redacted and Cinder. Cinder who were manipulating the
It's
hell out of it. And here Silver
a
attaches two images that we already saw in Nano's document, and here we can see Redacted was
Cinder,
saying,
why? Why are
canceled
you
because
such
of
a
Cinder,
bad
did you?
person?
What's even crazier here is that this message was completely uncensored too, in which Redacted said,
And we still got
"Well, let's see
50
if
more
Geary wants a nano
minutes,
model
and
or
it
not,
still
hope
gets
Silver finds
worse."
someone else." So this is yet another content creator that was added to this mess that we
Spicy
weren't
and
even
sour
aware
usually
of.
wake me up.
Silver
I
continues,
can't
didn't
do
think much of it
spicy.
at the time, but Cinder messaged me on Discord right before my model was canceled. She celebrated that we shared art, despite the fact that at the same time, she and Redacted were actively working to take the potential for more away. Here you can see a private
See that?
message
Look
from
how
Cinder
fake
to
she
Silver
is.
saying, "Hey Silver, I just got your gamer sub stuff in the
She's
mail,
so,
and it looks
she
amazing.
knows that
It's
she's
so
trying to get
cute
them
that
not to
we
work
both
with them,
have
but then she still
Nano's
acts
art on
like
our
she
merch, and she's
cares.
both our
That
model mama.
I
This is unhinged psychopathic behavior, bro. Does this person even feel shame? At this point, I don't think so. Silver then ends this document with a section moving forward. Cinder and Redacted have spent years sabotaging me for no understandable reason. I have never done anything to warrant this other than just existing as Silvervale. They actively sought to get my models and art cancelled, and based on the messages I have seen and shared above, seem to have not had any second thoughts about doing so. It's hard to express how crushing a feeling it is to be talked about so cruelly and maliciously without my knowing, and to know opportunities and friendships were taken away for what I can only assume is spite and insecurity. There is
Literally.
no end to the amount of anxiety I feel knowing that if these rumors were expressed to Nano, I have to assume they were expressed to others as well. I hope this document and the evidence presented will convince you that I'm not the person that Cinder and Redacted tried to
I
convince
never,
people that
like,
am.
I
Thank you for
never,
taking the time to read this, and
when
I hope
Cinder
that any
did all
and
this,
all of the
I
people who
never,
were
like,
affected by this
I
can
don't know,
get
I never
closure
believed her. I
and
never
peace.
thought all these people were actually bad
Yeah, for the
people.
first time
Like,
in this
I
video,
never
I'm
thought that.
speechless. I'm just glad that Cinder focused on VTubing and
Lily
not
had the
politics, otherwise
longest
she would have
response
become
I've
the
ever
next
seen her type.
dictator or something.
Bro.
Make no mistake, this happened
Bro,
because Silvervale
bro.
had boundaries.
Bro.
This happened because Cinder would not take.
Let's talk about Lily's response real fast. Lily is the most kindest, sweetest, loving person. She stays out of drama. She doesn't get involved. So you know, when one of the kindest people out there gets mad and types a long ass paragraph telling you how fucked up you are, you know you done fucked up and you're a bad person. Because I did read Lily's comment. I read it like off stream when all this first started happening, and I was like, damn, you done fucked up. For real.
Take no for an answer. This happened because she's an unhinged psychopath. With all these different documents and everyone understanding the real nature of who Cinder was, her career was effectively burning to cinders. Sorry about that. People were very patiently waiting for a more complete statement.
And she's about to
after
come out with
losing over
one.
10,000 followers and waiting more than 24 hours, she finally just published it 6 minutes ago. My apology. Let's see
And
if this
since
can actually
she
save
has
her
done
career.
nothing. She hasn't.
Cinder
We've
starts
never
off
heard
by
her.
saying, "There's nothing
Oh,
I can
I
say
don't
to
want
make
to
this
listen
better,
to this
but I will try
because
my
this is
best to properly
horrible.
convey my feelings, frustrations, and mistakes. I'd like to explain my point of view and apologize to each party affected. Redacted has been my co-content creator
I already
since
see her
began
down
making
here, bro.
content, managing
She's
all
locked
aspects
up.
of what I do and being a major part of why I'm here. We have also been in a relationship since the start of my endeavors.
Did I
It's
see
no
it?
secret
Oh.
that many VTubers choose to keep
Yeah, I
their
did see
public
that.
and
I
personal
saw
lives
it when
separate, and I'm no
they
different.
first typed
As of
it.
yesterday, he is no longer working with me, and I have not extensively discussed any of this with him. Where our personal situation goes from here will be figured out between us privately. I never
Say
intended to
Lucifer's
mention this
dealing for
publicly,
now,
but given that the
actually.
claims are out there, I want everyone to know I'm taking this seriously. After years of working on everything together, his
I was the good
hyper-business-oriented
hellhound today.
outlook
I
warped
was able
my
to
view of
stream.
what it is I should
Lucifer
be
let
doing
me
and
stream
what should
tonight.
be important to me as I navigate this career
I
path.
was
I have a
good.
terrible work-life
I'm a
balance
good
as it is,
hellhound.
and being around projects and streams all day every day made me lose sight of the point. It took all of this happening for me
She
to
ain't
realize
sharing my
this
room-
behavior
my-
isn't
my
normal
cell
or
with me,
healthy,
though.
and it's not an outlook I want to have. This doesn't absolve me
She
of
ain't
the things
sharing my
I've willingly
base
done
with
wrong and
me.
went along with,
She
or the
going
way
a
I've
different
treated
one
people
that
who were fully
doesn't have
undeserving.
nice things
Guys,
in it.
right off the bat, it's not looking good. Okay, this is this is not going to change
Go if
much
you're funny.
if the rest of the apology is looking like this. But
For
anyway,
real.
she continues. In regards to Nanolist, for the majority of the time working with her, Red was the one almost solely doing the communication about
Lies.
new plans and negotiations through his
I smell
private
bullshit.
DMs. Nano had a project server we were all a part of where the actual art and models were worked on, but the conversations were focused around the work itself. I was not fully aware of the extent of Red's manipulation over
Wrong.
Nano's
Oh,
commission decisions, and I
manipulation,
should
yeah.
have been more diligent in my oversight.
the right word.
Every time I had been told that Nano had agreed to work on a new commission with me, it had been willingly and with excitement. From my
Wrong.
point of view, it was that she genuinely wanted to be working on these things. I wanted
Wrong.
to work with Nano as much as I possibly could, making her art the face of my brand. We had come to the conclusion that it would be in my best interest to talk with Nano about making more time for my projects by negotiating with her to cut out other work. This was
Wrong.
wrong for us to push onto her, and it was wrong to the other creators who wanted the chance of working with her. There was only one specific creator we
Bullshit.
were responsible for naming and pressuring
Her
Nano into
apology is so
reconsidering
fucking
projects with, not an
bullshit.
entire list. Of her own volition, Nano canceled a large portion of her model commissions last September.
Gut the
However, the
gap.
claim that I was just using
Gut
her
the
is
gap.
wrong. Wait, no, this is completely undermining what actually happened.
For
Redacted
real.
pressured Nano to not work with Bao, Cotton, Silver, and there was even mention of Geary in there. And let's not forget that more recently, Shy Lily was included in there too.
Yeah.
So for Cinder to say Nano canceled these of her own volition is wild, seeing that they manipulated her into doing so.
For
Anyway,
real.
she continues, I've always treated Nano with respect, and as my friend, I did give her a lot of work, and we did everything we could to accommodate her schedule if she needed more time or a break, and even helped her with her own project payments multiple times. I've invited her on my stream, I've sent her my merch and things she's made for me, and I was always open to talking to her about things outside of our projects in the instances we would message each
Her
other.
apology's so
Regarding the
cringe.
exclusivity deal made between them, I had no
Her
part in the direct
apology's so
negotiations of their eventual agreements, and I had no knowledge of Bao and
My
Cotton being included in this
ears.
list. If I had known my friends were included, I would have said something
It's
to put a
so
stop
cap.
to it. I was only aware of it being about one person who I was unfairly pursuing. When Nano had messaged me about this
It's so
agreement almost a
cap.
month later,
It's
I was
so
under the
cap.
impression this was only about Silverveil. I was
Rob,
upset,
like
and
I
my
am.
initial messages to her were very guilt-trippy, but I wasn't going to force Nano to do anything she wasn't okay with. I tried reassuring her
You
that I was okay with
already
her decision.
did.
Nano had
You
also never come to
already
me as seriously and
did.
professionally as her
Can I
document
have
was
the red
looking to
one?
address the
God
issues she had
damn.
with either of
For
us, or
all
to
them out,
terminate
you
our
should get
partnership.
one red
I had
one.
no idea there was even a conversation about Shy Lily recently between Red and Nano until
Liar.
reading her document. It's true I had confided in Red that lately I hadn't been hearing from Lily like I had in the past and was worried something was wrong. But that's as far as it went, and he took it upon himself to try digging for more info. And I was never even aware Nano was ever planning to work on a model for another one of my friends.
That's
Either.
a
I do not
lie.
condone anything about what Red said about Bao in these DMs either, and him using we and our in this context is abhorrently incorrect, and I believe was done to gain greater credibility behind what he was saying. Yes, Red and I were initially upset when Bao hired my editor, and I took it personally when I shouldn't have. I felt as if maybe my content wasn't good enough or like I wasn't paying enough for his work.
What do you
But
mean?
I
You already
accepted it and was
won.
happy for him for getting that bag and supporting one of my friends at the same time. I don't know. At this point, these things are very hard to believe. If
For
she
real.
confided in Red how pissed she was, she's admitting that yes, she was pissed and she confided in Red. Red then used this information to add them to the blacklist. But regardless, those feelings are not things you're meant to feel towards friends.
For
Anyway, she
real.
continues and she says, and yes, I was also upset when Sack, the Boss Rush music video editor, had told us that he won't be working on any future project with us and would instead be working exclusively for Bao. But Red got it in his head that it was Bao's fault that it happened and seemingly held a grudge against her for it. He was very passionate about Boss Rush and the potential future projects around it, but he told me about a music video editor as talented as Sack. The future projects wouldn't reach the same heights, so he created this headcanon that's laid out in those DMs. I wasn't convinced this was the case, but it's my fault for never speaking with Bao about these things directly to clear things up and letting it spiral to the point it got to. Every comment here about her own music, guilt-tripping, and claims about our shared feelings towards her are disgusting, and I honestly don't know why you thought this way about my close friend beyond the resentment over those two things or why it was worth sabotaging her over. Like, again, if you had the time to confide how pissed you were about this to Red, you could have messaged Bao to clear things up. Assuming you had no idea what Red did, it's still kind of a problem that you didn't want to clear this up in one DM. She goes on
real?
to say,
For
the
real?
"it's just business" screenshot of my
I hate
DMs
to
with
guess
Nano's
it's just
document was from
business.
November of 2023. And I'll go into my thought process of everything I said here. What Red was trying to explain to Nano is that if everyone has a model
It's
by her,
just
then the innate value
business.
of her models overall are diminished by there being an oversaturation
Literally
of that
saying
type
that,
of model out there.
stabbing-
If everyone in the world had
stab-
a VTuber
stabbing my
model
friends
done
in the
by
back
her,
is
then the
just
value of
business.
having
It's
her model
crazy.
wouldn't be the same as if there were only a handful of them, which she viewed as a negative for me. I understand where he was coming from with this, but in the VTuber space, this isn't something we should have pursued, so I was never upset seeing new model siblings. In many cases, I was there cheering them on at their debuts and looking to collab with them as sisters when I could. Oh, you mean
Fake.
how you met up with Silver at TwitchCon, cheered that you guys are both wolf sisters, and then stabbed her in the back? Yeah, that
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah.
She
Yeah.
continues and says, me saying it's just business was referring to my acceptance of Nano's business decisions, whether she chose to work with me or not. This was not in reference to anyone's model being cancelled, further explaining to her that it's okay if she chooses not to work with me. I can understand where the next part can sound manipulative, but my intention was to reminisce about the journey we had together up to this point, since at this time I wasn't sure if this is where Nano and I would stop working together as frequently as we had been, and I'd have to look for a new model artist. I then encouraged her to work on projects she's excited about while I talked with Red to find a project that would work with her schedule. That's definitely looking at things with the perspective of best case scenario. Like,
Yeah.
I want to believe that's the case, but with how Red was talking, it just makes it very hard to believe. She continues, when talking about Silvervale, I need to start at the beginning. Before
Oh,
I was
God.
Cinder, I was a pink cherry blossom girl named Tashi that did ASMR content. When the VTuber boom happened in 2020, I knew I wanted to join in. Red and I contacted an artist in October and they were set to start my VTuber design by December. The plan was to take my cherry blossom persona Tashi and make her a pink and white wolf girl VTuber. In November of that same year, Silvervale revealed her Sakura wolf redesign. I had heard of Silvervale earlier that year, but I didn't watch her streams at all. We knew we had to pivot before we were stuck with a design that would just be a copy of one of the most popular VTubers at the time. Like I've explained many times on my stream, I knew I wanted to be a wolf girl, so I mixed my love of Okami and metal music into the design and came out with a hellhound. My name was originally going to be Ember, but Red came up with the name Cinder since it was a mix of Sin and Cinder, both hell and fire themed. It was only a coincidence that it ended up being similar to Silver. I was genuinely interested in pursuing a friendship with her and drew fan art myself of us together. See, that would be considered wholesome, but then teeters on the borderline of being a stalker when we know how hard she tried to be friends with her and then
Yeah.
ended up backstabbing.
Yeah.
She continues, on the other hand, Red was in my ear the whole time saying how great working together would be since again he's been the business-oriented side of my brand. Since I started streaming, I have been ruthlessly compared to Silvervale, being called the discount version of her. I was accused of copying her design, copying her personality, and even copying her laugh of all things. And
Oh,
there was a
God.
large number of people who were diehard believers in the fact that I stole all of these attributes maliciously for my own gain, citing the art I posted of us together, calling her an inspiration, when in reality this was referring to the decision to become a hellhound. The only time Silvervale was mentioned in the original designing of my character was when we explained why we were pivoting to something else, and there were no references of her character involved. I grew more and more resentful of Silver over time between the constant belittling of myself, a controversy around my first waifu cup, and other incidents, even though she herself never interacted with me directly. And it was also that fact that made me insecure, like I wanted to know if she believed all these things or not. It really felt as if she didn't like that I even existed in the same space. So at the point I was working with Nano consistently,
Sorry,
we brought up not
listening to
making
this
any
is
more
literally
models for her.
killing
If a
me.
VTuber model is how everyone recognizes you, then it'd be harder to compare us directly if we no longer look alike or have that shared similarity. It was a wrong and selfish decision, but it made me feel better, and that's why it was a constant topic with Nano. Red pushed for this harder than I ever did because he knew how it affected me for years, but no matter what the outcome was, I wasn't going to walk away from working with Nano. Silver was completely undeserving of this treatment, and it was my own insecurities that led me to making this choice. I became unapologetically evil towards her due to no direct action of her own. There's no excuse for any of this. It's interesting, right? Because that's exactly how she made Spite feel. And even though that was the case, she never went out publicly to say, hey guys, stop harassing her. This
For
idea
real.
of a VTuber copying another has been a problem in the VTubing sphere for a long time, and that's
Yeah.
the community's fault. But I personally don't like how often Cinder is throwing Red under the bus. Even here, saying Red pushed for this harder than I ever did. Yeah, so what? You were aware of this, and you were pushing it in DMs with Nano too, so it doesn't matter whether he did or not. Like, I wonder, we're not even halfway through, is she still gonna push this narrative that Red was doing the majority of this, and I was on the sidelines, but I'm still sorry? It's like, no, no, you were very much aware. She continues, moving on from Silvervale, let me talk about Spite. Once again, I had no involvement or knowledge of Red bringing up Spite to Nano in 2023. My only personal involvement with excluding someone specific from working with Nano was Silver. My design sheet and outfit were finished and made public at the very start of 2021. The first thing she mentions is a debut teaser in 2022 that was apparently posted on the same day as her original debut, which I honestly don't know if at the time this was intentional or not. I don't know when I first discovered Spite, and it could have been after she debuted. When I first debuted, I was very possessive of my design details, things. I had made it a year and a half since my design sheet was finished and public to having a full VTuber debut as I watched everything grow and change from the sidelines, and I didn't want anyone else to capitalize on my concept before I could. Soon after my original debut, I remember Spite getting an update to her model that made it seem like she more closely resembled me, including fire added to her model. Without
Bro,
evidence,
you guys don't
I
even look
saw it and
alike!
I thought she must have copied me, but I never did anything about it other than voice my frustrations to Red. I didn't want to start drama with
guys
anyone,
don't
and I
even
didn't
look
have ownership
alike.
of fire as a design detail. The references for the ripped shirt and shorts outfit on my bikini model was given to Nano in June of 2022 with the purpose of having a cover-up outfit that would be safe for Twitch. The merch art she's referring to was designed around my concept of fire changing blue. The fact that the rest of the art was grayscale was the artist's choice since it was going onto the back of a hoodie and I didn't have a say, or at least I didn't counter that being the final decision. There was no intention to deliberately look like Spite with this piece.
You're a
Unfortunately,
liar!
both my Angel and Sleepy outfits being similar to
Choking.
outfits Spite has done in the past was just a coincidence. I had always planned to one day make an Angel counterpart to my Demon outfit when it was being made in 2023.
You're a
and my
liar!
work sheet laid the groundwork for that idea. I've never liked theming anything around my brand in a religious light, so I chose to make my Angel form more Greek Valkyrie than biblical, which also gives it a similar look to my
It's making me
Demon
so
form.
mad.
The Sleepy outfit was a last-minute decision to
It's
pivot from a
making
fully
me
new
so
3.0
mad,
model because I had the
though.
opportunity to work with gamer subs on an AFK flavor. Spike never should have received the hate comments over her outfit or any comments comparing us or belittling her because of my existence, and I never advocated for anyone to do so, especially given my experience.
When are we getting
In
a
regards
bald
to Spike,
redeem?
I'll let you decide. Was it a coincidence that so many outfits matched each other? And is it a coincidence that every time Cinder complained about anything to Red, he would make it personal? Anyway, she continues. Spite also brought up another creator who reached out to her about their experience
Want to pay
with
for
me,
that,
and I
buddy.
can only assume it's Niantic.
Want to pay for that
They're
one,
an
buddy.
ASMR artist who at one point posted a Hellhound original character for one of their upcoming ASMR videos, and it was undoubtedly created using me as a reference.
You're
This was
cringe.
right after my debut, and like I said, I was very protective of my design elements being unique to me, and I overreacted. Shortly after, I
Yeah,
apologized.
you
and they agreed
overreact
to
a
adjust the
lot
character
then,
design, and I thought
Cinder.
the matter was settled. At the very start of my online career, I was a girlfriend experienced ASMR artist. Before I started my channel, I had gotten into listening
I
to
thought about
roleplay
doing
audios
ASMR,
myself. I had
but I
always
can't
been a
bring
shut-in
myself to
throughout high
do
school
it.
and college, and I wasn't happy with where my life and relationship were at the time. After uploading my first few audios, my channel started growing fast. This was the first time I was inundated with so many people.
I know
wanting to
people
me
probably
and
like
talk
it,
to
but
me,
I
and
just
got
can't
lost
bring
in the
myself to
excitement of
do
all,
it.
Not fully coming to terms with these messages being because of the kind of content I was making. I was immature and inexperienced with how to conduct myself online.
That's
I have
cool.
never had many
I
IRL
can't-
friends and
I
have
could
met
barely
Rain during
listen to
I
ASMR, let
quickly
alone
became
do it
comfortable chatting with him
myself.
about everything, divulging my grievances about my personal life.
I
when
don't even know
shouldn't
if I
have.
could do it,
cheated on
bro.
my boyfriend with Rain in these conversations, flirting and sexting. I used Rain for emotional comfort and sexual fantasy while I let my real life relationship collapse. It was about my dissatisfaction with my personal life and escaping into messages with someone else who I found through content focused around girlfriend and boyfriend RP. It was never about climbing the ladder with Rain, and I find that being his takeaway
Interesting.
from why I moved on baffling. By the time I was ready to debut as Cinder, I wanted to leave that in the past. Still, to this day, I regret my decisions and have
I
been
didn't
living with
like
it since,
it.
and I
I
was lucky
didn't
to
like
be
it
able to
'cause
mend my
it seemed
relationship
creepy.
afterwards. So she confirmed she cheated,
bet.
and Red was fully aware, at least as far as we know.
What?
Yeah, maybe Rain did have the wrong conclusion here. Maybe she actually moved on because she wanted to leave this part of her life behind. Sure, but did she cheat? Yeah.
Yeah,
then
she
continues
cheated.
and says, and lastly, I want to address Peaches. This is a very big problem I have, and I'm sure many others in my position do too. At the end of the day, I am one person. I am one person working on multiple projects with multiple companies, talking to dozens of people, and streaming for hours almost every day. I've never had a big social battery, and I get tired.
Okay. Using that is not a fucking excuse because so many fucking people do the same thing and they're not a piece of shit. Let's just get that. Let's just do that. There's so many people who do the same exact thing, but at the end of the day, they don't throw their friends under the bus. They're not pieces of shit. They don't do all this shit. So the fact that she's even trying to use this as a fucking excuse, no. Oh yeah, I get creeped out by whispering voices too. How could I even do ASMR? Yeah, I was gonna try, but I don't even want to try.
Tired very easily when interacting with people. I haven't had much energy at
I was
all
gonna
over the
say
past
something,
year,
but I'm
leading
just
to me
like,
taking
no.
frequent naps. I've rarely been able to keep up with my closest handful of friends on a frequent basis, let alone everyone else. Red has always been a big help in keeping up with things, but he doesn't
Because I know
do everything. I'm so sorry.
Ghost
I
would
made you feel
immediately
forgotten,
clip
Peaches.
it, and I
always
would never
cherished
be
your
able to live
friendship,
it
and I'm so
down.
incredibly excited to meet you in Paris. I'm so grateful for everything you've done for me, and I've never thought to purposefully drop you just because I could. I'm sorry. I know I've made a lot of people feel forgotten or ignored. It's so easy to get caught up in projects or what I'm doing while I have the energy to do it, that people
And
fall by the
Siren's in
wayside.
here
I
too, and
understand
they're
the feelings
new,
of those
so
who
let me
resent me
not.
over this, and all I can say is I'm sorry. I don't deserve to be able to contact everyone involved directly to personally apologize, so I'll do it here in the chance they read it. So before we get into the individual apologies, I just want to clarify, Peaches means Van Peaches. This is the same VTuber who called her out for having a boyfriend and trying to hide it from her, as if they didn't know each other. Now let's get into the individual apologies, starting with to Nana. I'm sorry I let things get to this point or even entertain the thought of you working exclusively with me. That's not fair to you. I wouldn't be here without you, and I wouldn't have been able to do most of what I've already done without you. I felt overly attached to our relationship over the past 4 years and loved your work so much that I wanted to make myself exclusive to your art.
We need Chase hitting chat for Pan ASMR.
Everything you've ever
Bad
worked on
chat,
for me was
bad!
always so perfect, and I lost sight of how everyone else around me would have felt. I had no intentions of pressuring you into anything, but looking back on my clouded judgment, I can see how my messages felt that way. When I talked about how my models helped you improve, I meant that as looking back on how far we've come together. We've been friends for so long and cheered each other on when we both started growing and getting more opportunities like plushies, figures, etc. You had been my exclusive artist for full life 2D models for the majority of my time as a VTuber, and of course I would have been sad.
Oh my god, I'm sorry, Bonk. Oh my god, I'm so sorry, Bonk. Oh my god, I'm so sorry, Bonk.
I saw you as someone I trusted and loved and wanted to make sure you were still taking care of yourself with all the projects you took on, mine or otherwise. I never saw you as just a business partner. I thought I was reassuring you that I'd always be understanding if you wanted to move on. You weren't
reassuring shit!
I genuinely appreciated our friendship. I always saw you as a close friend, and I'm sorry for what I put you through.
You were reassuring shit!
Since the start, I've always admired you and how genuine you've always been to everyone. I wouldn't be here without you either. I'm disgusted with myself for buying into the narrative that my friends were competition. I've never had such genuine friendships in my life, especially with you. We've gotten to know each other so well online and in person. You've already been through so much, and the last thing I'd want to do is cause more harm. Well, that's a bit too late. But I did. I'm sorry for not reaching out sooner about these ideas that were put into my head. I wish we would have been able to talk about this too. I didn't know about the severity of things that have been said and theorized about my own friends behind my back until now. It's my fault for not realizing the things Red was saying about you. The countless friendships I've made here within the last several years mean so much more to me than him and the business side of things. Wait, did she just say, the countless friendships I've made here within the last several years mean so much more to me than him and the business side of things? Like the friendships mean more to you than your boyfriend? Or did you just... Right,
oh my god,
in a non-clear way. Anyway,
that's all you're gonna get from me, bro. I'm never gonna do ASMR. I'm not gonna even try it and do a little line because I know you would fucking click that shit and I'd never be able to live it down.
And I hope the friends I made can understand I never condone this behavior or any of the things that were said about my friends. I've always wanted everyone around me to thrive and find happiness.
Liar, your bullshit's making me sick, bruh.
I'm sorry, bow. After all these documents and these different people and their perspectives and their points of views, is there a single word that you believe in this paragraph?
No.
Let me know in the comments. Next up,
no.
To Sack. I loved getting to chat with you in person and absolutely loved all the hard work you put into the Boss Rush song. I was so grateful to hear you were on board to edit the music video. I don't remember exactly why the stream got pushed back, but I definitely wouldn't have put the blame on you knowing about how soon the deadline was when you started working on it. I was so thankful for your willingness to complete the project despite everything, and the quality of how it turned out was incredible. I can't believe how Red talked about you, especially after all the effort you put into it. I'm so sorry for everything that's happened. Next up we have Takai and Shy Lily. They don't get individual apologies, they got grouped up together.
Hey man,
anyway,
I met a bunch of people
I'm so sorry you had to get dragged into this. It's my fault I let it get this far, but I hope you can believe me when I say I had no knowledge of Red bringing you up.
I ain't gonna be one of them though.
I just learned about all this myself, and there could have been so many other friends affected by the narrative.
You ain't gonna catch me, little bro.
If I knew Red was trying to exclude specific friends in this exclusivity deal, I would have
not for free.
None of my friendships are worth sacrificing over an art piece. I love being your friend and all the memories we've shared, and I hope someday you can forgive me for allowing this to happen. Next up we have To Silver. Since the start, I loved that I saw someone else sharing so many similar interests to me, and I thought maybe someday we could talk about it all and be good friends. I was blinded by all these hate comments around me calling me your lesser half. I hate the person I've become towards you. I tried reaching out some time ago to try to start up a friendly conversation to change things and make things right, say hi to you at conventions.
It was already too late, little bro.
But despite all that, I was still being
there was
eaten
one guy who said something like
fear or harassment. I was pressured by the community as a whole to try reaching out to collaborate since I got these messages so often comparing us, and I
nice try, buddy. You thought you could get me to read that out loud? I stopped the mid-sentence.
And I posted it
That's
without
crazy.
asking you, which was wrong of me. I was so wrong for letting everyone get in my head about all these malicious feelings. I'm so sorry for any opportunities I've taken away from you. I'm sorry, Silver. Then we have the shortest apology in the entire document. To Spite. I'm sorry I had assumed things about your design that weren't true, and I'm sorry you've been harassed by commenters needing to compare us. And I apologize for the way Red spoke about you to Nano. You didn't deserve any of this, Spite. I'm sorry. Next up, we have Van Peaches, 2 Peaches. I'm sorry if I made it seem like I was ignoring or ghosting you. I was so happy we had the opportunity to meet in person, and I was apologetic with how busy things were for me at the time. I wanted to spend more time with you, but as I got more and more DMs and messages, everything became so overwhelming. I've always had
You
a low
could
social battery,
take
and
your
that made it so hard for me to
apology
keep up
and
to date with
shove
all
it
my
up your
friends. I've
ass,
never had any ill
Sinder.
feelings towards you, and I still don't. Next up, we have Rain, 2 Rain. You were the
I
first person I met as an
didn't,
ASMR
bruh.
artist
I
during a time where I
started
was
to and
immature
I
and vulnerable.
stopped.
I ended up being
But
consumed by the content I was making, and it led me to making awful decisions I still think about and regret. I was not in a good spot at the time. I've hated myself for this kind of behavior, and it took a long time for me to move on from what happened. I have no excuses. I'm sorry you were dragged into my drama, and I'm sorry how I made you feel after
You
I
ain't
just wanted
sorry
to close
about
the book on
shit,
things. And
bruh.
finally, she says, I'm sorry to my pyro pups and my mods for expecting me to
You're not
be better
forgiven!
than this. I'm sorry to the VTuber community for
I don't want to
looking
be your
towards me as
pyro
someone
pup
to aspire
anymore.
to. I'm sorry to Kaiser, who's put his heart and soul into
I don't
everything
even know
he's
what to
ever
call
done
my
for me, and not
chat.
even talking to
My
you about how I
hellhounds?
felt.
I don't know.
I'm sorry to the dozens of artists that have put their hard work into me, and I'm sorry to the rest of my friends who I've let down. I've led a bad example, and I don't expect
My flames of
forgiveness.
hope?
I've made many mistakes over my 5 years on the internet, and I'm only one person living the one life I get for the first and only time, like everyone else. As I said at the start,
Yeah, I don't know
ended
what
up developing
to
an
call
extremely
chat.
unhealthy work-life balance,
I
and
want
the
to give you
harm
guys
that
a
has
name,
caused
but
by
I
the way
can't
view
think of a
things is
name.
irreparable. The way I've been perceiving things lately is not how I want to view the world moving forward, and this goes to show there's a lot I need to address and improve if I'm going to continue being a creator. I'm devastated that the friendship so special to me may understandably never be mended again. I love my job, and I love all the friends I've had. Thank you for reading. Signed, Cinder. Woo, what a read. My voice is almost gone.
My
What
dog
did I get out of this?
toys.
Well, it was kind of what I was expecting.
My little
There's nothing
dog
she can really
toys.
say that
Be
can
a little
repair
good
what
dog
happened.
toy for me,
Sure,
okay?
Redacted
Oh my
was her
god,
manager who was doing
no,
the
I
talking
can't
for
do
her,
that,
and even
bro.
if we
That's
were to believe her and
creepy.
give her the benefit of the doubt, 100%.
We entertain you
we
like
still
you
have proof, and she
entertain
admitted
us.
that she was
So dog
purposefully
toys.
targeting Silver. All of this was also happening over
My
the last
little
couple
dog
of years, maybe even a
toys.
bit longer. This isn't just about her not being
don't know,
aware
man.
and Red being the guy who did all of this by himself. This is about how she's the boss, Red is her manager, and in any other industry, this would be considered gross negligence. Just imagine with me for a second, if Nano didn't make her document,
That sounds
then
like
how
wrong,
long would this have
though.
carried on? I get goosebumps just thinking about it.
I do
Like, this is
too. I do
ridiculous.
too.
And
I've
it's actually
mentioned
very
that
easy to
earlier.
shut down all her excuses. She was there when Bao showed her the model that Nano was working on. Throughout this
We can
entire
be
document, she
puppies.
kept saying how
Oh,
Nano
what?
was more than just an artist.
Well,
She was
no, but
her
I feel like
friend.
that would
She
be like
loved her.
copying
When
Cinder
Bao
Pyro
vented to her and her
Pups.
friends in the group chat that the model was cancelled, a true friend would have messaged Nano, asked what was going on. A true friend would have
My hell
reassured Bao,
pups?
seen how they could help. But she didn't do any of
You wanna
this
be
as
my
if
hell
she was
pups?
already planning it to begin with. And guess what? She was. Throwing your boyfriend under the bus for everything is just not gonna cut it. Other
My little
VTubers,
hell
especially
pups?
the ones mentioned in the document, thought the same thing. So they made sure to publicly reply. When she
Oh.
saw her response, Bao replied almost immediately saying, How? How can you say you didn't know? I showed you both my base model sketch from Nano at WeepCon. We walked on stage and performed together. You were in the group chat where I shared my sadness over Nano suddenly canceling my model after we were so close to begin live
My
tweeting
little
and rigging.
lava
And to now
pup.
find out that just the day before I shared my sadness, this is the conversation that happened that ruined months of debut prep, planning, merch preparation. If you want to apologize to me, please do it properly and stop hiding behind Red. About
Isn't that
attaching
kinda
the
close
two
to,
screenshots we
like,
already saw
Pyro
in Nano's
Pups,
document
though?
and a new screenshot showing the group chat where she vented about Nano dropping her. It's just not adding up. This apology is only making things worse and even weirder for Cinder. Shy
Yeah.
Lily replied to this apology, and here's what she had to say. The absolute audacity.
Oh, before we listen to Shy Lily, Pyro is fire. Yeah. Pyro pups, lava pups. I feel like if that's not close though, right? Like lava pups and fire pups. If it's like not the same thing, then I feel like it wouldn't be. Should it be a problem? I don't want to be like, oh, you're copying Cinder with your lava pups and her pyro pups. I feel like that lava pups should be fine. My little lava pups. If it's not copying, you guys will be my lava pups. And then later on, I'll get you guys something made that makes you guys look like, not like Cinder's like fire pups, but like you guys are like lava pups, like lava, like made out of like stone fire, like lava rock, but pups. Pyro refers towards like fireworks or stuff that is fire related. And what is lava referred as? I like fire though, but I can't copy Cinder. Yeah, lava is molten rock. So you guys will be like my little pups made out of molten rock. My little lava pups. I like fire though. But you'll be my just feisty rocks. Well, you guys are my little lava pups because you're feisty. My little feisty lava. My little feisty lava pups. Lava pups is fine. You guys will be my little lava pups.
To sit here and continue to manipulate and gaslight is absolute insanity. The pain and mental torment you've caused to the ones closest and most supportive of you has been devastating, and I have never been so heartbroken and hurt so badly for my friends. You are the fakest person I've ever had the displeasure of supporting. Reading and hearing of how you've really viewed me behind my back, not just through screenshots of your man, but also your very own messages, while having to sit here and read through these bullshit lies you spin makes me want to vomit. To claim that you didn't know a single thing and had zero awareness of what your man was up to, when everyone who shared even a single moment with you knows that you basically operate as the same person, sharing every waking moment while loving to jump at the slightest opportunity to turn into your most slanderous self as soon as the opportunity was given, even when talking about your friends, is sickening. I've experienced your own actions without red, in a situation where in your own screenshotted words you express a pressure to live up to what Lily is, and proceeded to throw one of your most loyal and supportive friends under the bus after months of continuous planning just because you consistently chose business over friends, never feeling bad for failing them. Just to earn the bag and compete
Couldn't
with
have
me
said
over
any
a
better.
V-Card collab that you rescheduled to be on the exact date your friend needed you to keep an important promise. You actively lied about it to them, instead blaming me for a collab you rescheduled, adding me to the pool of excuses to save your ass when you realized you were being a bad friend. Why blame me for choosing to miss an obligation you agreed to on one of the most important days in that friend's career? Everything you do is out of competition through your constant need to one-up people who are the sole reason you even have these opportunities and platforms to earn
For
from to begin with. You're
real!
welcome,
Cook
by the
'em,
way.
Lily,
You claim
cook
that it's
'em!
just business. Well, in the business world, there has to be accountability, and all you've done is try to shove it away and admit nothing. In true
real.
narcissistic fashion, you're only feeling sorry about yourself and your own consequences in your career and try to salvage it. I'm sorry for everyone who looked up to you as an inspiration, and I'm especially sorry for your fans. Pyropups deserve better. Wow.
Cook
You
'em.
know, Shy Lily typically
Cook 'em.
avoids drama even when there's her name involved. She
For
avoids
real.
it. She never gives it any attention. But this time, not only did she have something to say, she gave out a career-ending statement, bro.
For
And speaking of
real.
career-ending, Cinder's post has almost as many comments as likes, with many people expressing their discontent.
I even
The most
commented on
liked
it.
reply here is Buff Pup saying, "Dude, f off."
Literally,
Some of the biggest
Buff Pup
independent
literally
YouTubers on
said, Buff Pup literally told Cinder to fuck off. Said, dude, fuck off. That shit made me laugh, I'm not gonna lie. Even Demi fucking said something, bro. Demi!
planet are here saying how disappointed they are, while simultaneously not being in the slightest convinced by anything in this quote-unquote apology of hers. It's a disaster. But you would be gravely mistaken if you thought this was the end. No,
Yep.
this incident is the gift
It's
that
not
keeps on
over
giving.
yet.
Aru, the literal ass behind the Invisible Woman in Marvel Rivals. Yeah, I'm not even kidding. They actually used her as reference. But more
Yeah.
importantly, she's a streamer and content creator who used to be a VTuber and is on friendly terms with Silvervale. She revealed to us after Cinder's catastrophic apology that her weird obsessive/stalker behavior towards Silvervale didn't start in 2023. This went on for way longer, and she tried to
Oh,
use
boy.
Aru to get to her. Here's
Yep.
what she had to
Oh,
say in
yep,
her
I remember
statement.
this, I remember
hadn't
this.
planned on tweeting anything about this until I saw Cinder's apology. While I wasn't hurt to the extent others were, it's clear now that I was lied to and used, not treated as a friend, but as a tool. I first met Cinder during a Twitch Rivals tournament and really looked up to her. We hit it off, messaged a lot, and got even closer at TwitchCon 2022, where I spent most of the day with her in Red. At one point, she noticed I was mutuals with Silvervale, someone I admired since meeting her at PAX, and asked if I could introduce her. I thought she was just a fan like I was. Cinder invited me
Not
to
a
go with her
fan.
to Silvervale's meet and greet.
Not
and it
me,
meant a lot to
Cinder.
me. As someone who didn't grow up with many social invitations due to being homeschooled in a foreign country, that
They-
gesture felt special. But
Literally,
looking
they
back,
won't
I
take
realized
accountability.
She only invited me because
If
she
she
thought
would
I
have
could
just took
give her access to
accountability, things would have
Silvervale. After
been
I introduced them,
not
Cinder
okay,
pushed me to
but
ask
better.
Silvervale for a collab. I'm
She's
someone who
made it
rarely initiates
so much
collabs.
worse.
I prefer to build friendships off stream first or let things happen naturally. Still, I went out of my comfort zone to help because I believed she genuinely admired Silvervale. Now I know that wasn't true, and realizing she actually harbored resentment the whole time makes me feel completely used. I wasn't a person to her, just a connection. I did message Silvervale about the collab the first time, but when Sinder followed up again, I brushed it off because I didn't want to pressure her. Over time, I started noticing that Sinder didn't treat me like a real friend, more like a means to an end. Sometimes she
always
made
own
it
up to
clear
my
IRL that she
mistakes.
didn't even like me, and I can't help but think it's because I didn't push harder for the collab. By 2023, our interactions had nearly stopped. Still, I tried to keep things friendly in DM/IRL because I didn't know how to stand up for myself or set boundaries. Don't worry, even if you set boundaries, she would have still found a way to backstab you, right? Look at Silvervale. Anyway, she continues, that's changed now for obvious reasons. It's hard to say, but Cinder's apology doesn't feel genuine, especially not towards Silvervale. The truth is, Cinder isn't the only one who makes others in this space feel used or small. People like her, Yaki, and others made me feel that the best choice for myself was to step away from VTubing entirely and made me afraid to build new
I
connections.
don't want
But as I said
anything that
yesterday,
happens during the
there are
stream.
good people in this space, and they're the ones worth holding on to. Don't let the bad ones stop you from being your genuine self. To my community, I think I'd like to try coming back to VTubing. When we talked about it last night, hearing how much all of you love the VTubing streams honestly hit me hard. It made me sad to realize I gave up on something I loved just because of the shitty, awful people who poisoned the space for me. To the friends I pulled away from because I was trying to protect my peace, I'm sorry. I'd love the chance to reconnect and rebuild those friendships. I started VTubing because I believed in the joy and creativity of this community. It's heartbreaking to see that
VTubing is
spirit
so
dimmed by people who take advantage of
fun.
others' kindness, hold them accountable, call it out. What I went through wasn't nearly as intense as what Nanolis experienced, but I do understand how hard it is to say no to a friend, especially when they make you feel like you're the only one who can help. I truly hope everyone affected by Cinder can heal and move forward, and I'm sorry for any negativity this situation has brought up from my side as well. She then links 3 different images of DMs between her and Cinder. The first image is from 2022, and it's Cinder starting off the conversation saying, would you want to come meet Silvervale with me at 2:30 p.m? Aru then says, of course, I'll go with you, to which Cinder says, I'm just really nervous and I think I remember you meeting her before. Dude, she is so sneaky.
For
Aru
real.
then says, yes, I've met her, oh my god, she's so nice, don't worry. To which Cinder said, you're the best, oh my god. Aru said, that's you. What time do you want to meet up? Cinder said, whenever you're free, and Aru said, okay, I'll be free in 10. In the next image, a few days have passed, and it's
So
Cinder saying, "Are you
fake,
still
bro.
thinking about messaging
Wake up.
Silvergirl
I'm
about a
awake. I'm
Wolf Girl
just-
chat? I'm not sure if she'd really
I'm
want to,
just-
but I'd love to do more with you
like,
anyway.
I'm
We should plan our
listening.
spooky collab when we've recovered from this weekend." Aru
I'm
then says,
listening.
"Yes, let me message her and ask if that's okay. Yes, I agree. Let's plan something." Cinder then says, "We can wait a bit if you're still recovering, but if you had a day/time in mind, just let me know. My schedule's pretty open right now. I know I'm pooped from this weekend, but I want to do lots with my friends still." To which Aru said, "Sounds like she would be down to play games together once her schedule clears up." In the third image, we see DMs between Aru and Silvervale, with Silver saying, "Hi, it was amazing seeing you too." Aru then says, "I was wondering if you'd ever be down to play some games off stream if had time. Totally understandable if you're too busy though. Cinder and I were just talking about how fun it would be to have a canine night. Cinder was the hellhound that was with me at the meet and greet." Silvervale then said, "That would be a ton of fun. I've been really busy lately with the con prep and stuff, but things have been calming down lately." There's also a fourth image, so it wasn't just 3, and these are DMs with Cinder and Aru around a couple weeks after the initial meetup, and it's Cinder saying, "Hey Aru, have you heard from Silvervale about doing a Wolfie
She's so
collab with us?"
fucking-
To which Aru said, "Let me message her right now." So hey, yet another person that Cinder manipulated and used.
Well,
What a
why would I do
Bear in mind,
that?
a year later, she would go on to also show up to her meet and greet and tell her mythic manager to message her on her behalf. I'm telling you, the people involved here need to get a restraining order on Cinder. This is ridiculous.
A restraining
Shortly
order
after this
for real.
disastrous apology,
Oh,
Bao
boy.
went live
It's
to
gonna make
talk
me
about
sad.
it, and look, it was very emotional.
Yeah,
Here's
it's
what she
made
had
me
to
sad.
say. I'll let her do the talking.
What I would have done if I was in their shoes, I just I can't understand. I couldn't understand it. I couldn't understand it. We had been through so much offline and online, and there's nothing more confusing and more painful than seeing someone in your friend group
Kenji goes live. Sorry.
be so kind and so warm to everyone around you, and feeling that they have slowly become colder and colder towards you, and not knowing what you did or if it's your imagination. But because everyone loves them, you don't know if you want to say anything. And so you keep it to yourself, and you keep hoping it's your imagination. But then the cruel realization hits that it wasn't. And it's even more worse than you could have ever imagined.
So yeah, it's definitely a very hard watch. Look, to the average person, this is just
I
another
feel so
drama.
bad for
but to
Bao.
these
I know. I
people,
fucking
like
get
Bao,
song
Gotham,
alive,
and
bro.
Silver, and so many more. This is real life.
And
this
it's
is someone they've known
9.
for years and genuinely thought that they were close and they were friends and they tried their best to treat Cinder like a precious person, not just a content creator or a VTuber. This is not something they'll just get over, right? They need therapy. They need psychiatric help. This is trauma. It's very hard to trust someone after something like this. As I've already mentioned, this didn't happen overnight. This was a multi-year operation from both Cinder and Redacted to backstab her friends, and she only apologized because she got caught. That is it, and people won't be forgetting about it anytime soon.
Nope.
But the question on everyone's minds is no doubt, is this the end of Cinder? Well, not necessarily. She might have burned every possible bridge in the VTuber community, but that doesn't mean she won't have viewers. She's an absolute psychopath that can't be trusted, but hey, other creators have done worse things and they still have a career. She will just
real.
never be able to reach the same level she had before this controversy, that's for certain. And in the end, controversies like these only serve to hurt gamer subs even further. She's a partial owner. I wouldn't be surprised if they dropped her. Anyway, that's the entire drama.
I kind of hope they
don't know how long the
do.
video is gonna be,
Like, I'm
but
sorry,
just
but I
because you
kind of
made
hope
it
they
until
do.
the end, you get the reward of seeing what 4chan has to say about it. That's right, 4chan is back, baby. It was hacked, but now it's back. Let's see what they think of this drama in the mega thread. All right, this is it. Let's see what the top comment has to say. That's great and all, but I don't care whatsoever. I just want to f Cinder's tit.
I did not need to hear that last part. I could have went my whole life without hearing that last part. Anyway, that's all the Cinder drama. It's just so much, and it's just makes me so mad. It makes me feel bad for everyone, because just hearing this and hearing what Cinder has to say, it just makes me mad, because this is like so ungenuine and so fake, and it's just not even like, yeah, it's just a lot, and it's like very upsetting how she hurt all these people, and it's just a lot. It's just a lot. But if you guys do let me know what you guys think about this video down below. If you think Cinder is wrong or not. And I will see you guys all in my next video. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. I love y'all, and I'll see you guys all in the next one. Bye.